Rossa
boys.
will make the match and be the official challenger. Emirates Team New Zealand do it again in a new class of boat that proves Kiwis can fly.
Very similar setup, Nathan, to that first start. It's kind of a chase from the boat behind. Working on starboard tack, the Kiwis put themselves in kind of a chase position, a push position.
Down.
45 on a peg.
Windier, so they get to that boundary.
Okay, he's driving. Oh, he's heading downwind towards the boundary.
Wait, we'll see how boys.
Luna Rossa and
He's coasting down the
going
boundary.
high and tacking. They're going to push from above. They don't really want to engage too much.
Lot of vertical separation.
Pushing from above is typically easier. You can push boats down the line that much more effectively. But they sure don't seem to be wanting to get back real quick, do they?
Yep. Keep going, please.
Bit of a lefty face.
Both boats high and slow mode. Really interesting. We haven't seen anything like this in quite a while. Let's see if the Kiwis actually try to push over the bow.
Looks like he's going to re-roll at the moment.
The left-hand side.
Okay, going speed. No, he's going behind.
Going behind. Jimmy Spithill
Ready.
just called it
Two
for
boards.
Got your board, Joshy? Yeah.
No.
Forward on the pin, please.
Okay, bearing away here a little.
30 seconds to start of race number 2 in the match.
Racing. Almost racing.
Up, hard. Boards up.
Racing line, man.
All the way, go.
No, it's just...
It's going to be a tack. I think we tack with him.
1. What's coming down?
2.
And where it goes.
1. Board down.
Emirates Team New Zealand split.
Jimmy Spithill called that. Let's match right away. So he's raced into match race mode. Very different from what we saw in race number 1 when the Kiwis got ahead. But here's our chance, Shirley. Here's our chance to see what kind of pace the Italians really have.
Good time. Yeah, sure.
The start that the Italians needed.
Yes.
And
You call it as well.
a real fight here. We think the Italians are a little bit more maneuverable. They're faster through their tags.
You focus on the faults. I can see.
Will use that advantage throughout this race.
That looks like he's setting up, potentially.
Yeah.
Board coming down. No, it's just...
Board down.
Yours. Lenny, gotcha. Happy to be below.
Hey, my rudder.
Straight away. Luna Rossa trying to really tack on them, and they're keeping them on the short side of the boundary. This is all being set up by a bad start from Emirates Team New Zealand. Bad time on distance. Hand at the start to Luna Rossa. Now it's all about can Team New Zealand find a way around them, or is Luna Rossa going to be able to keep them behind?
Slightly let off the hook though here, Nathan. They had a chance to force them to tack right back into that boundary, and they looked like they tacked a little early on Luna Rossa and actually gave the Kiwis a little breathing space here.
What'll be interesting is does this lead slowly go down? They'll be both selling a higher slope. Look at the boat speeds. They're down at 35 average. Last race, I'm pretty sure they were much closer to 40 knots. So it's a pitching battle right now. Kurosawa trying to squeeze the boat on him off.
Okay, that's enough. Now we rebuild.
Right now, New Zealand are doing a great job.
Very impressive, actually. This is, as all sailors know, being in that position that the Kiwis are in right now is really hard.
Now we go back to normal again.
Yeah, pressure coming here. 85. 3, 2, 1.
There he goes. Volta. 2, 1. Board down.
Very well done by the Kiwis. They hung in there and they allowed the racetrack to open back up again. They didn't get forced to the short side of the track or the high side of the screen. They allowed the race course to open back up and give themselves options.
So now's their moment. If they've got the boat speed, they've just got to put the foot down and try and go forward and gain a bit of leverage and come back along starboard.
Lee, pretty even racetrack out there right now.
Really cranking it and struggling to get a view of the boats at the moment, but yeah, the
Good pressure on our
Kiwis did a great
windward,
job in this gap, and Prada
the right
as they
lane line.
got a nice little lane to windward, and
Yeah, it looks
then
like
kind
he's
of
going
hung
to
in
go
there
on
and started getting the boat speed going really nicely towards the end of that
Yeah, I
lane.
think it's the tank we tank.
Really interesting race
Yeah,
happening here.
he's tacking now.
2, 1, hold down.
Down.
Leg number one.
He's just below the
I bet they don't miss him this time, Nick.
And behind
They're going to get right on their crease. Remember, the apparent wind is 10, 12, 14 degrees. It's almost tacking smack in front of your competitor, but you want to be slightly to windward. It kind of looks like they tacked a little early again.
Click early again. Looks like they're going to go about 1 more bit further, but look at the speeds now. Both speeds are down to 30s there. They were 35 before, now they're 30s. This is
Okay, a little build now.
intense high load right now. Really trying to punish the boat behind. The longer Team New Zealand stay there, the further in front Luna Rossa are going to get.
A little further. 2.
But Team New Zealand
One,
happily
one
seen
down.
that too.
What a great shot. Coming into the lay line here.
coming down.
So race number 2 of this match, the 36th America's Cup, and the roles are reversed. Heading to the top gate for the first time, and it's Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, ahead of Emirates Team New Zealand as they come around the mark.
The Kiwis tacked a little early on this lay line right there, right into the bad air. So actually, kind of some unforced errors we've seen for the first time in a long time in this race so far. Boats are tight, close together, maybe a little bit of nerve. You just never know.
Team New Zealand come around gate number 1, 13 seconds behind Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. In race number 1, they had a 14-second lead, but game on.
So now the real question is Emirates Team New Zealand a faster boat downwind? They're not going to have any disturbed wind right now. They're basically following around the track. If they're a faster boat, they're going to pull meters down this downwind.
Just amazing shots from the water, from all of our camera angles, all over these boats, all the detail, all the statistics.
Boat coming down.
You're a number guy, Stephen. That's a dream come true for you.
I'm sitting in heaven right now watching this, but we're also seeing a rather large lead by Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, the challenger.
Down at the moment.
Surely similar, kind of a similar race to the first one, just a bit of a flip-flop on who's ahead of who. But again, it was that start. It was a mistake off the starting line. Turns into a 250-meter lead in no time.
Tiny, well, the start wasn't a tiny mistake, but also at the top mark there. The Kiwis just tacking slightly too early. As you said, tacked into that bad air. They also had to sail slow for a little bit, and that's, I think
We got
that's
one on
100
either way.
meters gone.
Have a look
Nice
at
left.
This is all about attention to detail. Incredible sailing.
What are you thinking, Coach? Just keep it tight? Yeah, I think we'll probably try and split it.
Yep.
A little lighter now, but come in 5 again.
That feels good.
Still on the left here. Echo pressure here.
Nice puff here.
Stay same. Little gain for us in the last 30.
Yeah. You got right on it here. Just doing a little build here. It's going a little soft.
Yeah.
Stand by. 3, 2, 1.
That jibe right on the ley line. That red line there is the ley line. They'll have software on their boat telling them exactly where to jibe as well. So the plan coming in here will be a left-hand turn, I suspect, for Luna Rossa. And the real question is Emirates Team New Zealand going to follow them around the same mark?
Then we go straight.
I drive, easy.
The course?
Copy.
The good news here for sailing fans, maybe not if you're specifically an Italian fan or a Kiwi fan, but for sailing fans, is
What do you think,
that
guys?
the rumors of 3 or 4 knot speed differences were greatly exaggerated. These are two really pretty similar boats in this wind range
Not much,
so far.
Otherwise, just normal.
Go normal.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli about to complete the second leg of this 6-leg race, race 2 of the match. Looking strong, looking confident as they
Forwards.
round the
Okay,
mark.
good.
And both coming up.
Leg number 3. 13 seconds. And the
Nice
top
push.
Coming up, ragazzi.
Prada, today, coming up. Just play. Yeah.
at the bottom. They picked up a second.
Fine, should I change up the numbers?
Great move there, Nathan, at the bottom, man. That was slick by the Kiwis. Just split away from VMC. That is not an easy maneuver at all.
That was very well executed. Got the split on the bottom mark and out of phase. I think I wouldn't surprise me if Linus they've already tacked to get back in phase. And when boats come back together, I'm expecting Linus are going to tack right in front of them and try and push them up the other this time.
Let's go up to Lee McMillan. Hey, Lee, is that something that the Kiwis did just kind of because of match racing and wanting the split, or you think they saw something on the left-hand side of the track that they liked better?
I think they just wanted to get the split so they could sprint. You know, they went a little bit, get the boat flying, get it ripping, and try not get kind of caught in that high mode like they did in the first speed, and really try and put their upward performance to the test. So I think you'll see them just trying to kind of split off, get the boat really ripping, and see what it can do on this leg. No problem.
Shirley, you think that positioning by the Italians on the first leg was slightly a mistake, or do you think they want to tack just head into lure like that and force the other boat into a high mode?
I think like Lee was saying, they just want to be on the road. I mean, they're confident, they're fast, particularly in that slightly low mode, you know, when they can get the bow down and just get going. And so they just want to be on their own. They want to get ripping. And actually, they've sailed most of this speed, you know, without the cover of the Italians.
I stay,
So Kenny, I think this time they're actually a little bit further ahead, so they're able to go a little bit further to win. I think what happens is when you are within that 100-meter zone, if you just go a little bit too far and tack too far to win, you risk the boat behind coming and potentially hooking it. Now they've got a 250-meter lead. They're tacking in the correct spots. Luna Rossa right now are really controlling the
They're now slowly setting the Kiwis up to start pushing them to the left side of the race course. They obviously like the right side, so they're slowly but surely setting the Kiwis up to push them out to the left-hand side of the track and kind of pin them in.
I'm not sure about you, but does this have shades of the Prada Cup final?
Keep pushing it left side.
Luna Rossa Prada control of the race?
Well, there's no question. I mean, like I just said earlier, these are pretty even boats right now. We're just looking at two even boats out in an even boat race and not making many mistakes. And the boat ahead's doing the right thing. If the boat ahead is fast and is doing the right thing, you ain't getting by. If you're behind, not a chance.
Yeah, you're spot on. One thing that I'm watching this tacking drill right now, and I know that they're a fair way apart, but Luna Rossa to me look like they're making small gains every time they tack. Whenever the boats sail in a straight line, the numbers get a little bit closer, and whenever they tack, they just grow a little bit again. And I feel like maybe there's a small advantage to Luna Rossa in the tacking. As you see, this number actually, it's pretty much, there's nothing in it right now. So every time they move, I think that's when they're making their gains. So they're trying to make New Zealand do lots of tacks.
Let's hear what
I think we go leyland here, guys.
Yeah, copy. Easy pressure here. And trimming.
Good balance.
Francesco Sabello sitting actually to leeward right now.
More down.
Francesco Bruni driving the boat, talking about the balance of the boat. That must be pretty close to a ley line here coming to the top mark for the second time around. There you go, there's the red line. And pretty clean beat so far from those guys.
Phenomenal.
50 metres there while Team New Zealand started the dirty air. And Team New Zealand again tacking, which to me looks like in dirty air once again. Not really
Coming three.
not really finding any avenues right now, the boat behind.
Here. So we are in a very small left.
Luna Rossa Prada in control of race number 2 of the match. Out on the Hauraki Gulf. They've stretched their lead on the defender Emirates Team New Zealand. 13 seconds at gate 1, 12 at gate 2. What will be at gate number 3? It's hard to find out, but sharp maneuver, and away they go downwind.
49.8 knots going around that mark.
That's quick.
That's not bad.
Stand by.
Emirates Team New Zealand finally making it to the halfway stage of race number 2. And the gap is
And away you go. There you go.
It's now out to 25 seconds.
51 knots for Emirates Team New
Hold
Zealand.
it for a second.
I looked away for a second. I knew you were going to call.
Almost boundary.
You got to one up. You got to one up.
It's an interesting sort of fact that there's not a whole lot of passing happening in these races. You know, if you compare what we've seen in these 2 races so far, but also Prada Cup final, semi-finals there. Once a boat gets in front, they generally pretty quickly shut the race down upwind, make a small gain, and then downwind. We haven't seen a pass in a downwind since December, when Emirates Team New Zealand passed INEOS. But that's the only race I've seen a boat actually pass another boat downwind.
I see pressure in front.
It's pretty typical of these foiling boats that go so quick. All your setup downwind is to get a speed so that you can attack on the upwind. So right now I'm thinking Emirates Team New Zealand, all they can really do is set themselves up to get out of phase again on the upwind and try and attack once again on the last upwind.
Surely not a lot of space to pass right now for the Kiwis, is there?
Keep going.
No, the Italians are doing a good job. And, you know, this morning, Philip Cresty, who's the coach for the Italian outfit, he said in the morning meeting, you know, today is a day for assessment.
I think we got all
So not to panic, to go out and learn about our opposition. And they've learned a lot, haven't they? Get a good start.
3, 2, 1.
It's going to be a big match. I mean, great sailing by both these teams. And as Nathan said, not a lot of passing opportunities, not a lot of mistakes by either team.
Yeah, crossing.
Stephen, you can hear the relief and the people breathing from all over Italy as we speak. This is a really good sign for the Italians.
Oh, we are in the middle left.
Sailors rate. By the way, this is
Any left
good
we can
for us.
lay, I think.
This
Yeah,
means these
I think at
boats
the
are
moment we
pretty
just go
darn
straight in,
close,
boys.
and the sailors are going to make a difference here.
So everybody that suggested,
Wait more for the...
everybody that suggested that Te Reo Tai was a quicker boat might just be eating their
Generally,
words right now,
pressure
because
is
look at that
right,
lead.
Softer
On
on this
leg
side.
4 of 6,
Okay, so
it's
it might be
stretched out to
Jack Nathan.
430-some metres. And it's Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, the official challenger of record, leading Emirates Team New Zealand, who
like our
are
Monday.
one match
Okay,
up.
boys, about 5 to the board
One
down.
race
to the
up.
board down, obviously.
Luna Rossa
Two,
Prada
one, board
Pirelli
down.
about to complete the 4th leg.
Here we go. Turn
Now
it.
throw it around the mark and head back upwind for the penultimate leg in race number 2.
My rake.
And roll it into a tack on port tack, coming at the starboard tack boat.
Crossing.
In comes Emirates Team New Zealand. 25 seconds at the top rate. 24 seconds at the 4th race. So, a bit like the last race, almost a deja vu moment. Nothing in this, but roles reversed. One is now the chaser.
5 left, 5 right, 5 1.
Jimmy, I find it interesting they ran straight into attack there as opposed to sailing towards this boundary and waiting for Team New Zealand to make a decision on what to do.
We saw the Kiwis do this a little bit in race 1
Yeah,
and
I see
kind
again.
of questioned it a little bit. I guess maybe this little heart in throat moment for Italian fans. What do they see? What do they see out there, Lee? Do they see just better pressure on the right-hand side? Is it that obvious, or did they make a little mistake here?
My rudder. Trev.
I mean, there's nothing obvious wind-wise. I think, I don't know if they were hedging that the Kiwis maybe weren't on lay and were going to split the other way, because they've kind of, I just certainly give them a bit of room now to kind of sail their own leg here for a bit. So I'm not sure they would have really wanted to
They're on Porto.
Sure enough, we look at it.
What do you think? Maxim
Up
left?
a bit, surely.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it looks pretty even up here, though.
That little mistake was made after all.
5, 3, 2, 1. 1, more down.
I think we lost Shirley for a moment out on the water.
But Kenny, I think you're right, like they've now done
You stay.
attack, 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 3 tacks to 1 tack. You know, each tack's going to lose you 50 metres, so that's why the lead's shrunk again. And
Blink of an eye, 430 metres coming down when upwind suddenly we're at 170 metres.
And by the way, we're talking about one boat may or may not be faster than the other. I think the big difference is that one boat may not be fast enough to overcome a big mistake, right? We still don't know who the quicker boat is here, right? Especially in this condition and other conditions. But it sure appears that if you get ahead and just make the right moves, the other boat doesn't have that dominant performance ability just to sail around you.
3, 2, 1, more down.
So this is the penultimate leg of race number 2 on the opening day of the match for the 36th America's Cup. Race 1, Team New Zealand, who are now trailing Prada Pirelli in the second showdown. And they are trying to hunt them down. They really are the hunter right here.
Go in here. Stand by, boys. 3, 2, 1, more down.
I'm guessing they go back, like we were talking about, they go back around that leeward mark and said, maybe we got a little cute. Maybe that tack right around the leeward mark got a little cute. We could have spread the race course out a bit and been a little more controlling.
I think you're spot on. I think initially, you know, they're probably thinking they're not laying, so we'll be smart and we'll do the tack on the mark because they're going to have to jump.
What do you want to do?
We'll be on their
One
face.
in or?
Turns out that they got a little bit too smart and they gave up. Did a few extra manoeuvres, but they're still in front, 200 metres in front. I don't think anyone's panicking.
1, more down.
They're definitely not giving him a chance, that's for sure. Once they get in phase, they keep him in phase there.
This must be an incredibly frustrating position to be in for Emirates Team New Zealand. You're seeing yourself close up, and the boat in front is just playing the game. You can't do any knocking about it because of similar speeds at this point.
Definitely, the boats are pretty evenly matched, and right now we've seen 2 mistakes today. One from Jimmy Spittle and Rosser in the first start, and one from Peter Burling in the second start.
3, 2, 1.
This is what the end result is. It's a game of mistakes, and if you don't make mistakes, you win. If you make mistakes, you're going to lose.
Rossa, Prada Pirelli, the gap is closed. Emirates Team New Zealand are trying to hunt them down with 1 leg to go. But they haven't been ahead of this race so far. The official challenger record. These are the 2 teams that designed these magnificent
you start us, Kicker.
AC-70s.
Be a little softer out of this.
And the gap will have closed. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli head on the final leg, downward, leg number 6 in race 2 of the match.
5 away, 3,
It was 24
2,
seconds.
1, way you go.
It's 50% gain.
If there's anything light there, have to get out again, but not great. Yeah, but
Race to home.
you're cool.
They're going to have to do something special, Shirley, aren't they? They're not going to just drag race this one down.
No, and I think, you know, the Italians lost half their lead by just sailing their own race and cruising over to the favourite side, so they're not going to let them go again, that's for sure.
Yeah, he drives it now, it's fine into it.
Lee, kind of final call from you're the tactician on the Kiwi boat right now. Is there any magic wand, any magic bullet out there that gets you by?
At the moment.
They're in a good bit of pressure right now, so they did the right thing there, jiving. There's a little bit of a funnel almost down the middle of the course, actually, there. But I mean, Prada, I think, have really got to slip up here for it to go back to Emirates New Zealand's way. Other than that, one tack at the bottom, they did a really good job of just down beats, and like Nathan said, the downwind, setting up the next speed. You've got to try and find your opportunities in those upwinds. So Prada did a fantastic job of really shutting that down and that one-legged mark, really.
Stand by, boys. 3, 2, 1. More down. Done.
My runner.
What's interesting to me,
my
Nathan,
trap.
as they're coming in towards the finish line, 1,500 meters to go in the race, pretty small lead. It's not a big lead, but how slowly they're now pulling these boards out of the water. They used to be really aggressive with pulling the old board out of the water. Now they're doing it slower and slower.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I guess the slower those boards come up,
the pressure
the
here,
smoother it is. But let's just follow this into the race. We can analyse the manoeuvres a little bit later. I feel like it's getting a bit closer and a bit tighter. And if you're an Italian fan right now, you might be starting to want to hold your breath a little bit, as you can feel Team New Zealand breathing down their neck a little bit more.
100,000 metres to go to the finish. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli coming into pressure from the defender.
Carries on.
They made all the way to the start.
2, 1.
One would suspect in this second race,
My rake, my trap.
maybe they'll run out of race course, Emirates Team New Zealand. Look at that.
They didn't make it
100
easy.
metres.
They didn't make it easy, though.
Luna
Nice one,
Rossa,
boys.
Prada
Nice one.
Pirelli.
We can do this.
By 31 seconds.
I can't
as
say,
the race
boys.
number one of the
Bye.
match.
Ho, ho, ho.
This
That's a
time
good
you
one,
can
Jimmy.
hear the quiet satisfaction.
Bravo.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli
I'm
take
proud
out
of you.
race 2 of the match, and we are all tied up
Hey.
at 1-1.
One, push him down.
7 seconds the gap. That's a race.
So slow match.
Nathan, I think it's relief on board this boat as much as anything right now. That was as much cheering as we've
party there
seen
for
when
the
anybody has
Downwind.
won a race on board the Luna Rossa. But I think they're just relieved
Just get ready to spin
that
up.
maybe the
We'll hook up
rumors
with you,
weren't true,
Faraday.
that they do
Okay,
have a
boys,
boat that
turning.
can
Here we
actually
go.
win races in this event.
Yeah, relief is a great word. They won all. Like, that's a fantastic outcome for the challenger. You know, normally the defender you think has a little bit of an advantage. If you can go 1-all on day one, and as Philippe Presti was saying, it's a day to see where you stack up against your competition. Well, not much in it. It's all about how well you start, how well you sail, and it seems like if you can start well, control the race, and that'd be a huge confidence booster for Luna Rossa and all Italian fans right now. They'd be very happy with today.
So if you were Emirates Team New Zealand and the furthest behind was 25 seconds, but you came home strong and you miss out by 7 seconds, you must gain something from that. There must be learnings from that.
Oh, of course, they're learning from every minute they spend on the race course against another boat. But you also learn that our boat is not going to be fast enough to sail around a mistake. And that's what they made at the beginning of the race. They made a mistake, one mistake that ended up costing them, and that other boat ain't slow.
That's good. Okay. Next move will be a jar.
INEOS Team UK, and they
Okay.
lead the start fighting.
Shifty, breezy. We've seen a record of 14 tacks in a race. As shifty as this is, we may see that record broken today, with teams having to tack on the smallest and subtlest of wind shifts.
Hold that.
Wind is 250, 90.
Big already at the back.
Yeah. Okay, turning up. Okay, still
Italy
below.
bearing away here. This is where the boats are going to start to aim at each other on the exit of this manoeuvre.
Yeah, he's going to be early here. It's square.
Jamming here.
The Rossa do look quite early on their turn back there.
He's still quite early there.
Picks that up, so he's going to go behind. Very likely go behind, attack, and then start that pushing maneuver.
Yeah, copy. Boundary in 12 bend. Okay, ready? 2, 1 more down.
Really early, but that's a small starting box, starting area down there right now, Nathan. So it's a struggle for them both not being early.
Yeah, and you don't want to come off the fours. You come off the fours, it's a long wheel. So
Okay, stand by.
power in the start right now is to Ben Ainsley.
2, 1 down.
Here comes the
Go
push.
to the hook.
Speed.
Coming on.
Missing out. Bearing away. Coming down.
Jimmy Smith on Luna Rosa, trying to stay up, yet not be too early for the line.
He's locked.
Up hard.
Oh, he's come off the foil there. Big slam down.
Easing out. Easing
Slow
out.
here, 23 knots.
Straight on. Watch him. Got him. Looking you.
He's a little early.
Yeah. Okay, all the way? Yep. All the way. All the way. Go hard. Go hard.
Go, space.
Here we go. Nice.
An hour and 20 after the official race start, we are finally underway in round robin 3, race number 2.
Danger on the low, no
Luna
danger.
Rosa, INEOS Team UK.
Okay, matching him on the
Must
boundary.
win is at top of mind.
And out.
Amazing timing sequence there. Both of these boats. How hard it is to slow down and speed up at those
we got
speeds,
boundary
at those
in 40,
radical angles. Incredibly well done, actually, by both teams going into that start.
Pressure on the way.
Happy 22.
Coming up to boundary protection time, Nathan.
Fast mode here.
Yeah, so this will be the INEOS rolling into attack pretty soon. You see a board going down now. They had to attack because of the boundary protection for Prada.
Further. Further.
Trying to get a little bit of leverage
Little
here.
further,
Jimmy's
further,
still
further.
trying to go as far as he can.
Two,
He's got to
one
be
now.
careful he doesn't get a boundary penalty here.
Angle's good.
A little bit of separation so they can live on the hip there. Now it's going to be about boat speed and
Taking a little clip
intersection
right
when they
to come
come back
across here.
port starboard.
Okay, go on the wind here. Yeah, have a cover.
Now it's about the wind shift out there. This is going to be a drag race
he's falling
across
into
this
us here.
race course. And Shirley, who do you think has the advantage as they head all the way across?
How does it look under North Head? Yeah, it looks
Heading
okay.
here on
Kinda hard
the
to call it,
right-hand
but the front
side,
looks
just
all right.
under North Head, and it looks really good here. Plenty of pressure.
Up on it too.
Massive big shift. So,
Up on here.
you know, Ben's going to get here first. We'll see if it works out.
Push this way. Don't leave him much room out the other side. Yeah, he's going to be able to get it, so I think we're going to go here.
board
Stand by.
INEOS.
Crossing. Ready. Okay, 2, 1, board down. Turning.
Starboard, INEOS on starboard. I think Prada's well across right now.
Stand by.
Easy.
3,
Coming up
2,
on the wind. Up on the wind.
1. Board down.
Up on the wind. Get on the wind. They don't like this. Okay, hit tacks. Get pressure here.
Not the best tack in the world. Luna Rosa, but they
Trouble
pull
is
it
speed.
off.
Running the board down earlier.
Taking up a touch.
Maybe take RM in this
Not
puff
a
up
great
here.
tack
Puff coming on in 5.
Luna Rosa, all
Little
of a
build on you
sudden,
now.
they had the
Nice.
advantage, and it went
Throw it out,
badly
boys.
for them very
Nice, take your head up a
quickly
touch
here.
here. Yeah.
Tiny little mistake, Nathan.
Tiny mistake gives INEOS just that chance to get back in the race. And it's interesting, Ben Ainsley is to leeward the whole time, driving relative to the boat there. And you can see he's still on the leeward side of the boat here.
Working if you want to. Yeah,
It's the
no,
best
just trying to
way
hold
to
him out
judge
to
the
lay
boat
line
to
here.
leeward.
Not me at that moment. Up a
It's not
touch
easy
now.
to do,
Going on
is it?
here.
It's not easy to steer from the leeward side on any
good
boat,
breeze
never
in
mind a
two.
boat going 40
Building head,
knots.
getting
No,
a
no,
little
just have that
Stay
touch
high,
down
please.
there.
High. Coming on.
Hey,
Luck
rotor!
coming
Hey!
here.
Flag.
This is clear. Yeah, that's
Coming away.
Speed again,
Yeah,
speed
copy.
again.
Gonna have to attack here.
Pressure in
Copy.
front.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Trimming up, please.
Aggressive sailing
We'll
there
still
by
get
Luna
delayed. Ball
Little
down,
high
ball
mode.
down. Okay, ball down now.
Okay, build. Got to build.
Right here. From INEOS sheet build.
For Britannia, because they got slow there. Spithill did a really nice job getting him slow, and sure enough, they come off the foils going to the tack. Great move by Spithill as they came in towards that boundary.
Okay, puff on it 220.
So they're
Here we
just
go.
getting up
Okay,
and
I'll
falling
back
now.
up.
That should have Luna Rosa
Yes.
a few boat lengths ahead when they get to the
25
top
away,
mark.
yeah.
Especially if they can
Okay.
lay the top marks from there,
Yeah,
that would
mate.
mean no more tacks.
Okay, another 5 up.
Looking at this graphic here, it looks like
Another
both
all
boats
headers.
still have another tack and a left turn at the top mark to come.
Yeah, okay.
Heading towards the top gate
Yeah, look back to
to
that
complete
left.
leg
Good.
1 of 6.
Get back into this, guys. Stand by.
And it is all on. Elbows out.
Ready.
You must say the intensity's there in this one, isn't it? The highest intensity we've seen in any racing today.
High pitch.
I will. Little stop here, guys.
Stand by.
Keep pushing.
Yeah, 3.
Okay, main possible right turn here.
Go.
Your wheel, Ben? Yeah, my
Go.
wheel here. Get pressure here. Coming on. Two tacks. He tack.
Terrible tack by Luna Rosa Prada.
We have room. Touch
He's
and go on
triple.
room here. I think
Yeah,
we'll have room.
going
They
in.
get inside. Can INEOS get inside?
Your ECD here, Ben.
follow around.
They did it again. Luna Rosa struggled on the tack.
Tack main on.
Team UK, top gate first mark, and they get under. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
This is far over, guys.
We've got a match race going on here.
Simo jive, both boats jiving at the same time. Luna Rossa and Prada Pirelli trying to roll them out of this jive to take the lead.
I wonder why they're struggling. They've had 2 bad tacks at exactly.
I think they're dropping the board too late. You can hear the comms on board. You know, Jimmy's talking to Bruni about when to drop the board.
He went to windward,
Seems like there's communication
but still clear. He's about 3 to leeward. Fast mate
Under
is
the water
good.
with Shirley, you promised a cracking race. We got one.
And it's not over yet, Stephen. There's more to come, that's for sure. And I also think with the British boat that they can't hold a tight lane, that they haven't got height. I mean, they're super fast when they're on the road, but get them to windward of Luna Rossa and they're really struggling. We're following the boats down here, and to me, Luna Rossa just has a slight edge. They're just extending on the British all the time.
You wonder,
Very close.
Shirley, you wonder if the Cunningham is an issue when they're going downwind. That Cunningham was jammed on hard for upwind. You wonder if they can't change gears quite well enough downwind because of that Cunningham.
Yeah, and I think also on the upwind, just didn't have the modes that we're used to seeing.
Yep. My pitch is building here, John Stones.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Downwind leg number 2 of 6. Sitting around 40-odd knots, and it's a split tack by both as they go downwind. And is that issue with the Cunningham on INEOS Team UK limiting their performance in this critical race?
Single mode is good.
Luna Rossa's in a big right-hand shift right now, it appears, but if they pass back, this would be the 4th pass, Nathan, in this race so far.
Stand by in 3, 2, 1, hold down.
So while it looks good with that right-hand shift for them there, when they jive out, now they're sailing the lifted tack, which is not good on the downwind.
My rudder.
It's puffy and patchy out there, and I think, you know, when you saw how fast they're going downwind before, they were 48 knots downwind before. I think that's got to do with the fact that INEOS can't power the boat up downwind, so they're just in fast mode everywhere they go at the moment because they've strapped that Cunningham on so tight, but I reckon they've got a head here.
The world will be tempted, Stephen, to say, oh, look at Giles Scott did it again.
Go for our leg, go for our leg. We're caught at the moment.
Case.
Yeah, we're right turn here. Yeah, call the leg. Cross that in, board down. Cross that in.
Stand by.
5. Ready. 3.
Further. 3,
2, 1,
1. Might get through in here.
My pitch.
INEOS Team UK, get around gate number 2. Completing the downwind leg for the first time, and they get ahead again. This is tight though. There's nothing in this. Just look on the gap, and it won't be too much. It'll be a smidge.
Go, boys, stick it in. Go, go, go.
9 seconds.
right here, we may take soon, okay?
Have problems? No worries for INEOS Team UK.
Hold down.
Keep it calm. Get pressure this way.
Prada rolling straight into attack here. They were saying right-hand shift, so you want to get onto starboard tack when the breeze is right. That's going to get you off the course. So both boats now on the lifted tack. They're trying to do less distance. Super shifty out there. So if this breeze keeps trending to the right, Luna Rossa, who are on the right-hand side of the course, are going to make the gain. If it flicks left at all, INEOS should make the tack and cross easily. So big cross coming up here, Shirley.
In pressure in 3, 2, 1. There it is. Still sort of lined up.
I think he's gonna shake you out.
Luna Rossa. Righty, so we hold at the moment. He's clear across the going straight.
Hey, we can count them after us. Let's focus on this, I assure you. When you're racing, you don't count the passes. It's all about who's winning at the finishing line.
Righty here, Ben. Yeah, copy.
Giles talking about more right-hand pressure coming, so they're going to judge how far it goes out to the right to get a better slice of it.
Big right hand, unfortunately, but copy. We'll just try and dig into it. Hope it hangs in for us.
It's off the head, pressure
That's
in
the
10 in front.
geometry of the race course that they're referencing right now.
Yeah,
They would be, you'd have a different tactical strategy if you didn't have these boundaries. These boundaries really change things.
Looks like Luna Ross's just tapped on the port, and they've got a left-hand shift, so chance they're going to leg out on this upwind and make a big gain, but
4 down.
so shifty out there. It's going to change a few more times. I think.
3 laps around this race course, Stephen.
My wheel.
3 laps equals 6 legs, heading towards the halfway point, and Nathan suggested that Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli might make their gains, and you might be right on the money there, Nathan.
The big question now is, do they keep sailing the wind, or do they tack now and tack on their face and try and get in phase with them and control the race? And just as I say that, they roll into attack. So this is what they didn't do last Sunday. They didn't tack into phase, and today they're doing a bit more match racing.
20 out here, Ben. That's the other couple that you want to. They're trying to build a little here.
Yeah, easy here.
Sorry, it is a fine line, though. Look at that wind shift. It just looks like a left shift coming right there. It's a fine line of covering, but you have to cover smartly. You have to cover with wind shifts on your mind. Because if you just cover for the sake of covering, very often you can get passed on a day like today.
Stand by. Crossing. High pitch. Yep. Ready. 2, 1, 4 down.
Thank you now.
Yeah, Tom, for lifting.
Yeah, I agree. Pressure in 5.
They'll let them go this time, Nathan. They're just playing the shift. I think this is the right play.
Trimming up, man. Trimming up.
45, very light
There's
here.
plenty of pressure coming down above them there, and
Come up, come up.
it's a balance between angle and pressure.
Box has got us just maybe
55, come up.
Coming up. We just push all the way to boundary. Here we go. Yeah, as long as there's pressure. Yeah, He's just got a massive riding.
Ben saying that Luna Rossa got a massive rider, so they've got a big lift. It's not really ideal. You want a left-hand shift when you're on the left of the course, but they might make it to the ley line. If they get to that ley line and get a left shift any time, they're going to lay the top mark. Shirley, on the water, how do you see this playing out at the top of the course?
2, 1 more down.
We're about 100 metres from INEOS. They're just tacking on that right-hand side of the course. There's a big flat climb. There's plenty of breeze. It looks right-hand. So they could well have made a really good decision, just whether it works out in time. There's also wind at the left-hand side of the top of this course that Prada are about to sail into.
Nice.
Put pressure here.
Hey, just keep going. You got to watch him on the barrelway, okay?
Copy that, copy that. Copy.
240.
Good course here. Little turn on the mark.
Yeah, stand by. 3, 2, 1.
Clear.
Halfway through
Yes, boys.
race
Yes.
2, round robin 3, and it will be Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli reversing a 9-second deficit at the bottom gate and turning that into an advantage over INEOS Team UK. They're in the box seat at the moment.
Your pitch.
19 seconds, so they've turned a 9-second deficit around to a 19-second advantage.
That looked pretty windy at the top mark to me. You saw Luna Rossa get a massive heel in that barrelway, and Francesco Bruni saying, ease, ease, ease. He didn't want that rudder to pop out at that moment. And INEOS Team UK rolled straight into a jibe, so both boats on the right-hand shift with plenty of pressure going down this way.
And that jibe by INEOS was absolutely the telltale sign that they didn't want to spend a single second on starboard tack. There was a big right-hand shift on the race course. They had to stay in phase. This is not the time to split. This is the time to play the wind shifts correctly.
Downwind Leg.
Pressure out of this looks like.
6. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli with the lead.
My rudder. Off coming on.
Around 250 metres.
Okay, my Trev.
On INEOS UK.
Yep, my Trev.
Okay, they're bringing it down. Very good pressure. I think we extend a little. Come back.
Bit of speed here, guys.
You know, I think that's main trimmer Pietro Sabello actually spending more time looking around. There's no question that all the teams are thinking about more visual help on the race course, looking at wind shifts.
35 away here.
Yeah,
He comes
adding a
back.
lot to the conversation today. And
Soft into pressure here now. Still good gains for us.
definitely paying off at the
We should
moment.
have a nice little putt to
Big
jive
speed
in.
advantage with
boundary as
INEOS
well,
at the
Ben.
moment, sitting at 44 knots as
Coming into the
opposed
back
to
of one.
just under 40
Okay,
knots, and
not late,
they are flying. Look at them, you can just with the naked eye, they are scooting along.
Set up.
It's all about the wind shift. Now, where's this next shift?
Okay, I'm ready.
If it stays in the right, Prada gains. If it comes back a little left, then INEOS
Close
gains.
on boundary there, Ben. Any up or down? Turn it. Little lighter on exit. Okay. Okay, going forward there. I will. I edge. Okay, here it comes. Little rebuild coming here. Left 32. Last on and 2. Here we go. Here it is. Here we go.
Pressure, more pressure behind.
No lower, no lower, no lower.
Jive.
Yeah.
I mean, the best light for this
2,
whole
1,
entire
hold
cup
down.
cycle is how
Very
close
soft,
these
yeah.
boats are in speed. Nobody's running away with any of this. You make a mistake, you lose. You don't make a mistake, you win. That's all we can ask for is fans in the sport.
So they jump before the ley line to the bottom half by the looks of that, which means they trying to both boats do a left turn at the bottom here. I see what's going on. Oh, maybe they have got him. But it's just so risky. If you let the boat behind split, a good chance that INEOS could get back into this. So,
It'll be safe luck. Okay, my drive. Pull the job. Pull the job.
They're going to chime in here on Prada.
they're trying to stay in phase. Smart move that.
Pull forward. Very good.
Okay, stand by in 3. Easy. 2, 1, coming up. Victory, boys,
Prada
victory.
Pirelli around.
Pull forward.
Yeah.
Gate mark number 4. The advantage at the top was 19 seconds, but you know INEOS Team
Turning up
UK
and tacking. Copy.
have picked up 9 seconds. It's now down to 10 seconds.
He just pulled off a phenomenal maneuver, a brutally hard maneuver, and got themselves out of phase right away.
So in that case, Luna Rossa spent a bit of their lead, gave up a few seconds or 100 metres or so to get in phase, but Ben instantly got out of phase regardless. So he's going to get aggressive up this wind, and just it's a balance between wind shifts, wind strength, and getting out of phase with that other boat. They're gapping forward at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
Great manoeuvre though at the bottom mark, wasn't it?
Perfect, beautiful. This is a team that a few weeks ago couldn't tack or
Potential
jive.
header here on this pump.
It's really,
Hard to tell.
really phenomenal.
Pressure is right at the moment. Pressure has been off. If you want. Yeah, copy. It's going to make sure not too fast here.
Boat speed's pretty similar, Stephen, both around 35 knots upwind.
Looking at the positioning of the boats on this race course, the penultimate leg, 5 of 6, and really there's nothing in this.
There's nothing in it. I mean, it's absolutely amazing.
A lot of chat coming off the boats, isn't there? You can tell the intensity by how much chat there is.
That's good. Trim up, we go to boundary.
That
Trim out,
Lear's
riding
maneuver
on the wind.
absolutely worked for Ainsley to get him right back in the game.
Nice.
Shirley, I think it's time to go down to you. What do you see with the wind? Is Ben Ainsley heading the right way right now? Is he going to retake the lead here?
I think we're in phase at the moment. Copy that. Yeah, good
Oh,
lefty here.
Nathan, you can hear from the comms on board.
need
It's
to watch
really
how left it is at
difficult
the
to
top
tell.
there.
You know, normally as a sailor, you can
Press there.
tell
Copy.
if the breeze coming, if it's going to be left to
My
right,
leg,
but it's
my
really
drop.
difficult. There's a lot of cloud action.
Yeah.
There's just a lot going on, and it's pretty hard. I think just looking at the pace, we're right underneath INEOS now. INEOS are fast to me, but they look slightly lower. Not quite as high as Prada, but really difficult day.
So I'm really surprised, Nathan, that Luna Rossa did not tack on top of INEOS. I think they're a little gun shy from those 2 bad tacks on the first leg, and they didn't tack in close quarters right on top of INEOS, because they could have forced them right back into a short-sided racetrack.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
If
step
you
up from
tack
behind him,
directly
man.
in front of them, you're in good shape. But
Yeah,
right
he's
now,
going
I
to be,
can
he
hear
won't
right-hand
lay
shift.
if our numbers are right.
Jimmy thinks that they're not
He's
going to
not
Still
going
on
to
fire and fast.
So INEOS are going
He's
to roll
tacking.
into attack here, and
No
I think
duck at the
INEOS are
moment.
going to go behind them.
No duck, no duck.
Really surprised.
Okay,
That last
on the way
tack,
there.
they're going to really
I don't think he's lane, so we're going to shot
mistake
line.
by Prada
Yeah.
not tacking right in front of
Yeah,
INEOS.
boys.
It gives INEOS the lead again.
All the way.
Little
Reload here. Yeah. Nice riding here.
Left here.
Nice.
Stand by in
It's just all about
We are
being in phase
committing
with
to
these wind shifts. We know
Oh.
Auckland is super shifty. We've been talking about it for an hour and a half before this race began. Tacticians race, it's all about getting in phase. And if you're fast, it doesn't, you know, if INEOS are low and fast, but you're on the shift, then that's great.
Small soft patch 5. Maybe a less just working down the shoreline there. Yeah.
So potential
Nice
lead
spot here.
change in the
Yeah.
offing again.
Good catch at the
Lunar Rossa
moment.
had a
Good pressure here.
10-second lead at the completion of
Okay.
leg number 4.
Booking it for a couple if you want to.
But have they been outsailed again on this final upwind leg by INEOS Team UK, who, if they win this one, and then complete the go start, will go directly to the Prada Cup final.
Little ride into windward.
Let's hear them coming to this top mark.
Greasing here in 3.
In, set up, crossing. My pitch. Not there yet, on the box. 2, 1, ball down. Okay, you good? Turning. Clear cross here if we want it. Okay. My wheel. Powering up. Your wheel. Main on. Going straight here. Coming up. Yeah, go.
I'm munching it though.
Can I go straight?
Just
My wheel,
across.
my wheel. Your wheel. Main on. Yeah.
Just start the barrel away. Start the barrel away for me.
Yeah.
You're bearing away in 3, 2, 1, down. My wheel. Your wheel.
INEOS Team UK, Lunar Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Nothing in it.
Down to the 5.
Absolutely nothing in it.
All the way
Split
down.
gates
Nice
and
there.
away we go.
Main on.
Final leg of race 2, round robin number 3. Who do these fans want to win? It'll be split. Wow.
He jibes. Main on.
Yeah, my drive.
Better
pressure.
Obviously, there's a right shift on the
Copy.
race course. They're both going in the right direction right now with regards to wind shifts. Prada had to jibe right away. They were coming up in the boundary, so clearly a big right shift there at the end.
That doesn't look that great inside at the moment. No lower.
So the big question is now is, have they
He's got a little
positioned
letdown,
themselves in the
unfortunately.
best
Yeah.
pressure? Giles Scott said he's got a good letdown.
Any up
Maybe
from here, I think we
Prada
jibe then.
have got
Copy.
the better of the pressure right now, and INEOS are actually sailing up and out of it. You know, I think INEOS, when they jibe, they're going to come on starboard. If Prada make this cross,
Okay, that's the zone.
it's another lead change.
stand by,
The question will be, does Prada match the jibe, or do they allow the split further down this
Halfway through the
race?
zone
They
here.
stay on, if they stay in phase here, get across, then they will at least have starboard tack advantage coming back
Hard
at
wheel
the
there.
end.
My
This is crucial right now.
Building,
Okay,
34.
go a little fast.
Go fast. Copy, stay fast.
Good
Keep
there.
it a tip for tip.
Hold
Yeah,
your
that's good.
breath.
Good
Key
from
cross
there.
coming.
Forward.
INEOS just getting across to the starboard.
Just a shame here.
Pressure better for him, but I think if we jibe, we'll get rolled, so we've just got to stay this way.
Copy. What do you think? What do you think of the pressure here?
We can do
We
one
have
in
put
here.
pressure on our side.
Copy, pressure's all right here.
Good split then.
Both boats are green. Pressure is better on the left-hand side of the track as we're looking downwind. So Prada are probably going to better pressure right now. Giles said he wanted to jibe, but by jibe, I
We'll
get
get
low.
lighter pressure and we'll build
It's going to
again.
get tighter and closer as we get to the bottom here, I think.
15 and then it's right.
Yeah, we're gonna jibe
Your
soon
trap,
here.
your trap, your
Stand
trap.
by. 2, 1.
Oh, wait, wait, wait.
Remember, folks, this is the last leg. This is the finish. These guys are coming into this bottom finish line. This is it.
Not on leg.
Yeah, let's remind you,
Okay, on the box.
Lunar
We're there
Rossa,
in
Prada
three.
Pirelli
Okay, stand by.
need
happy
to
here,
win
Ben?
this
Or down
race
edge. Yeah.
to stay alive in the hopes of finishing top
Pressure, you come down,
of the
come
round
down.
robin series.
Okay, so neither boat's laying here. INEOS have just jibe. I think they are potentially laying the finishing line. Prada have starboard advantage, but they need one more jibe to come
Team,
here.
man. Team.
Yep.
This is going to be tight.
They got to get at them. They
Just
have
across
to
the
get them
line.
on starboard. I think they're in trouble on Prada.
Pressure increasing.
Finish, boys.
Hey, performance here.
INEOS
Come down, eh?
sneaks
Come
across
down.
the bow. Are they
Got
going
to place it.
Down, go down, go down, go down. Down.
Go on, go on.
Starboard! Starboard!
They're trying to set them up on a port starboard.
That's there. Coming out. Protest. Go.
Let's put it in the hands of the jury. I think that was a bit of a Hollywood. No penalty on board. No penalty.
And that hands the race to INEOS there.
INEOS Team UK heading towards the finish line in race 2 of round robin number 3 and across the line.
Okay, come on! Alright guys, calm down.
And that is an enormous win because all they have to do now is complete a ghost race start and they go through to the Prada Cup final.
What a race.
The Hollywood done by Jimmy Spithill to try to convince the judges that it was a port starboard. They did not, the umpires did not fall for it, and I think they made the right call, and INEOS goes on to win the race.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli crossed the line 33 seconds behind after at one stage leading by 19 seconds.
I think there's a little bit more pressure at the top. That's a little bit more even, but I still think the right's probably favoured, but less of a difference side to side. If you look down now, you see Emirates Team New Zealand off to the left of the course, sailing around on a J2, so there's good pressure down there.
He's on time, Ben.
INEOS Team UK with port entry for this 6th race of the Prada Cup final. They come in just a little bit long. 2 minutes and 5 seconds, but in come Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli from the starboard side and let the games begin again. INEOS Team UK need to win a start. So Ben Ainslie keeps talking about sailing better. The time is now.
3, 2, 1, go down.
Yep. He jibes. He'll be just inside our line.
I think what Ben will prefer this. The first in the box, you make the decision when you turn back. You're much more in control of your strategy and your timing.
That's starboard lay there. Copy. 1:30, killing 1 minute. Boundary 16 away. Coming up. 14 quickest, 14 away. 12 away. Okay. Working down here. Driving port down. Yeah. Going down.
Downwind
Here's
race.
that moment of truth right
Driving
now.
him.
Ziding coming up here.
Soaking now.
What's the fate?
Line is 12. The starboard
This
end.
says that the
Line is
Italian
10,
group
20.
thinks that they're going back too early. They decide to shift high. Watch out for that boundary.
Just got to check him on line line.
Take go forward.
Yeah.
My pitch.
I'm over here. 20.
These are lights there. Okay, killing 21 knots here.
Too slow here. Jack speed, boys. That's some speed. Speed.
Killing 16.
He's on
taking
copy
high
delay
when we
line.
can.
He's on copy delay line.
We're going to do one down there.
Right now. Yes.
Complete
will
role
push.
reversal of that first start right now.
Killing
Killing
11.
Time and distance for Ainslie. Can he shut the other boat out?
Okay, coming down now.
They're
watching it here.
You got eyes on them killing 10.
Yeah. Big down now.
Yep.
Okay, coming up hard. Up.
10.
Okay, up hard. One more.
Easy. 5. He goes again.
Hold that. That's good. Racing.
He cannot shut
Okay.
it.
All the way up.
He's going to be late.
15
All good, guys,
seconds.
all good.
Ainslie could finally have his
He'll be late.
control
Killing
off the
early
starting
still.
line.
Yeah.
Killing 2.
You and the
Cells on the line.
line. You and the line.
Charge.
10. 9. 8. 6.
We are racing.
5.
Big gap between the two right now, though, Shirley. Might have let him off the hook a little bit.
Yeah, that's speed.
Race 6 of the Prada Cup final between Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli and INEOS Team UK. Clean start, game on.
We've seen the boat on the left side, the high side of the screen, have advantage here because they get to tack when they get into this boundary. They have boundary abilities to go onto port tack. This is the crucial moment. That first cross is the crucial moment of the race.
We see the British boat squeezing up, closing that gap. They've done well here, the British boat.
They went early on Prada. They didn't even push them into that boundary limit. Nathan, they showed pretty good height right there, the Brits did, and able to kind of shake these guys off early.
Yeah, Kenny, exactly right. It was a really good start by INEOS Team UK. Defended the Lewis line nicely. I think it's all going to come down when they come back together again. Who makes the cross here? INEOS need to make the cross. They'll be on port tack when they come back together. If Luna Rossa get a piece of them and get them on starboard tack, then I fear we see the same result. But if INEOS make the cross, we could have a race on here, guys.
This is the drag, drag race across the racetrack, Shirley. This is the drag race for control. This is it right now.
Still on port. That's good speed.
Remember, we're liking the right-hand side of the course. So we just need to watch out for that. Well, let's watch the Italian pace.
Goody, what do you think? Right side again? What are you liking out there? How are these two boats going to come back together? What's your call?
Can out, maybe a touch, I don't know.
Looks like the Italians are making it's the whole way across here on port. Just a little higher at similar speed. So I think now they've tacked, it's going to be very marginal cross for INEOS. I think they're in a good position here to leave out underneath and lead them back across.
It will be hard for him to leave bow.
Force down.
He's leave bowing.
Turning. Nice speed.
Take on board.
We're looking to slowly trim up. 2 builds,
24s.
This line.
First cross.
25.
Normal build.
Haven't said that in a long time, Shirley.
Options for the ley line, back the other way. Breeze is slightly in the left here.
Coming on. Okay, speed's getting there.
What do you reckon at the top upwind here, Ben?
Surprise, Ben.
All right on the left, just all right.
Copy, we got option for the ley line.
I'm surprised they're allowing such a
I think we've got to stop.
Yeah, copy that. Let's go ley
Slightly
here.
over it. Being on boundary, I
Slightly
suppose.
softer patch here, then pressure back.
Big
Don't think he
split.
won't get to ley.
Big split.
Okay, pressure building in 5.
I'm with Goody on this one. I'm surprised they hung it out there all the way to the other side of the race.
My runner. My trap.
Do you think there's a slight nervousness about your speed and tax and manoeuvrability on the British boat, Kenny?
There's something about learning how to, I know I'm talking about the greatest Olympic athlete in sailing history, but they haven't won a race in a while. Sometimes you kind of get out of your own comfort zone.
So we are still on the same
Let's
deck.
head on board Luna Rossa, potentially for the first time in this whole
Pressure
Prada Cup
increasing
Final
in
Series. They're trailing.
This looks like pressure. Best pressure is top left right now.
Copy.
Another close cross coming.
Little pressure coming back in.
He's coming to intersection, same as before.
Okay. He's probably on lay, is he?
I don't think so. No,
Okay,
that's a
copy.
negative.
Right here.
On the edge.
Taking some height. Coming up here.
Yeah, even.
Yeah, just across.
We have to just follow him here.
No problem.
Nice work. Stand by. 3,
Full pressure after
2,
him.
1.
Good call,
Okay, I think we've got to. Yeah, we go right down here.
Last
Follow.
time there was no problem. 49
Fast
coming at each other. No
Good
sweat.
pressure here.
Okay, my wheel.
And here's a small moment that will make the team on INEOS Team UK feel
Hard
so
down
much
in
better.
3,
For the first time in this Prada Cup Series,
1.
they head through the top gate, leading Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli.
At 5.
Yep. Steer down. 3,
Yeah.
2, 1. Clear.
Around go Luna Rossa, 8 seconds behind.
And trimming.
Okay, back up if you want.
Yes, cross.
Gotta
So
let
good
him out or
pressure.
go all
He's
the way.
going live. He's going live. Thinking about going
I
here.
think,
3,
yeah, we
2,
can
1.
go.
2.
Board down.
Here we go. Okay, my runner.
Okay. 29s. Okay, 30s. Building here.
Nice pressure from us here.
Okay, angle by build. 32s. 34s.
Got a little bit of pressure up there.
Nathan, we look at the race course here, and we still notice that these guys have their biggest jib up, the J1, and on the Italian boat, they have a smaller jib up. Still, pretty big difference between sail plans right now, isn't it?
Similar right now.
37s.
Yeah, you're right, Ken. There is a difference, and we were all thinking that bigger jib was holding him back, but
Pressure holding in all the way
there was
out
no
here,
holding
Ben.
him back on that upwind. They obviously sniffed out something out of the left to make that
sort of
cross
is.
at the top, and now we have roles
Pretty similar
reversal
to
in
him,
this race.
but
We've
just
now
a
got
right
INEOS in front for the first time.
Pressure is light.
And the question is, are they going to slowly get away? Is the lead boat got such an advantage? Or is Prada fast enough, and are they going to get back into this race? It's looking pretty stable out here in terms of pressure, so it could be a bit of a boat speed race from now on.
Stable from side to side, Paul? Well, what are you thinking from way up high?
Right again. So we are in
Yeah,
phase
no,
here.
the pressure looks more even side to side, but it's still ever so streaky. I think they heard the commentary there from the Italian boat from Keko saying they're going light in front, now's a good time. And I think that's what it's all about. It's just trying to drive before you get light. Doing your driving, no pressure. There's a big VMG gain than waiting until you get light and then driving in the lighter stuff. But we have a great race on here. I can't wait to see how this unfolds.
We have seen a general increase in pressure. It's up to 12.5, 13 knots now at the bottom of the course.
My rudder. My trap.
Yeah.
Leg 2 of 6 in the 6th race of the Prada Cup final.
Leader left
It's
again.
INEOS Team UK who quite simply need a win to stay in this Prada Cup final. They do not want to be going into the shed tonight with no wins, 0-6. Are we seeing the start of something? Long way to go yet. They hold the lead on Luna Rossa right now.
Sailing confidently, also you can make a case sailing like a boat that doesn't think it can maneuver as well as the other boat, right? Not, you know, they're ahead, but they don't mind legging out to the other side of the race course. So it's funny, it's kind of an interesting philosophy.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, that initial tack they did on the boundary on that upwind, they looked slow, and I think since then there's been a lot of dialogue between Ben and Giles about pressure and which side, and a lot more sailing your own race, sailing the course, sailing what you've got, rather than being super aggressive on your opponent.
On average. Copy.
Guys, probably JK.
Okay, 10 seconds out here. My pitch.
2, 1.
INEOS Team UK at the bottom leg for the first time, the bottom gate. And if you're watching this in the middle of the night in the UK, you will be pretty happy about this. Don't fall off your seat. Don't spill your cuppa. But INEOS Team UK in race 6 are leading Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. Are they on the 3rd leg, on their way to their first win of the Prada Cup final? Only time will tell.
My rudder.
Aggressive maneuver at that bottom mark there, Nathan. I thought the Brits did a nice job setting. The Brits did a nice job setting up the Italians to round the same mark, but it was a tricky little, beautiful move. Showed just how maneuverable that boat really is.
Happy to come up slowly, Jimmy.
Yeah, I think you know, INEOS did a great job of making sure Prada followed him around, but then Prada instantly straight to get out of phase. As Paul Goodison was saying, it's a little bit streaky out here, and if you're the lead boat, you wouldn't want to allow too much leverage right now. So INEOS rolled straight into attack. I expect when they come back together here, INEOS is going to start to shut this race down. It'll be a face tack in the next one, and then they'll be trying to push them up the left-hand boundary, I suspect.
We're a little more lifted than him.
Yeah, I'm sure it's all going to be about protecting the right, so you be tight on port, so try and force the Italians back to the left-hand side of the course, and holding a loose cover on starboard, so you're always staying to the right of them. It always looks like INEOS have got more pressure at the moment as they go across here, so I'm expecting a attack straight in front of their line here.
Setting up, that's crossing. Not long. In. Ready. 5, 3, 2, 1.
I travel.
Just take shot maybe here. Big righty.
Big right, yeah.
Big righty as reported by Francesco Bruni, which means a right-hand shift, which, like our commentators out on the water call, definitely always favors the boat to the right, which would have been INEOS, and INEOS did it. You know, Shirley, it seems to me when you and I call that the boat's going to tack on another boat, they never do, but Goodison's here for 5 minutes, and he nailed that one.
Come with us. Good for us. Okay.
INEOS Team UK holding steady on this
255
leg upwind.
Out of this pressure and
Luna
probably
Rossa's probably not really able to chip into that lead at the moment, which has been sitting around 200, 240 metres on leg number 3, the halfway mark of this 6th race. Confidence will be building on the INEOS Team UK boat.
5, ready. 2, 1. Down.
Boards down.
Your pitch.
Take on board.
Yeah.
Grab.
3 is on here, boys.
Yes.
3 is on. Stand by. 3,
Pressure on the left.
2, 1,
Got options to lay line here, Ben.
Yeah.
7s. I think we go all the way to lay left
My
turn.
rudder. Copy. My trap.
Luna Rossa happy to just keep tacking. I mean, they're so manoeuvrable.
Pressure building in 5.
I travel.
A good pressure on 5.
Pressure increasing, yeah.
What's really interesting, Sheila, is listening to the talk between Joel Scott and
Just on the
Sabine.
beginning of the boundary.
Confidence is a little bit up. Chat's just got a little bit more real.
Okay, nice there, good numbers.
Different when you're leading, right?
They have something to talk about. They actually have a choice to be made. The other boat, when the boat's ahead, is dictating your tactics. There's really not a lot to talk about.
Also, Stephen, it's still really close. There's a lot of decisions to be made.
Yes, well, there was a part of that leg where Luna Rossa was starting to eat into that lead, but again, INEOS Team UK finding the wind, finding the shifts, and just holding that
Just
comfortable
check
200
pressure back to left lane line 16 out.
Yeah, it's okay.
Seems like that was
On
a
the
really
box,
nice
it's
ball
12.
by INEOS there, just to carry on to the right into this more pressure.
Building a
And
touch
in the
with
end,
the
Prada
stone.
ended up doing 2 more tacks, and in this lighter breeze, the tacks are quite costly. So I think
On
we'll
the box in 3.
takes a little bit here.
2, 1. Down. Turning.
Okay, go board. My pitch.
Okay,
My wheel. My
5.
pat.
The left here.
Okay, 6s.
Might struggle a little here.
Yeah, just get up to speed. Pressure all right.
Down. 5.
Okay, taking a little bit of height now.
Yep. Working up.
Can they lay on the way
Nice
in
pressure
here?
inside.
Looks like
There's
they're
pressure on the
ley line,
left
they're on
mark,
ley-
so-
ley line. They have
copy.
nice control of this racetrack
Possible
right
early
now
jibe out this left
on
turn.
the INEOS boat.
Copy
Hang
down.
on.
It does look lighter if we
Little light
extend
spot
left.
coming here now, no pressure back.
It'll be a bear away
Amazing how
settle.
they're moving
Possible
these
early
travelers
jibe.
now, Shirley. The aggressiveness of the travelers are almost steering the boats for the travelers.
Okay.
INEOS Team
Down in
UK
5. In
at the
3.
top gate, complete the
2,
halfway
1.
mark of the
Your wheel.
6th race.
Easy.
Race,
Little
excuse
softer,
me.
getting
lighter on the
As they
bow.
around the
Carry on.
mark and head down for
Down,
leg number
trimming on,
4.
big on. Good angle.
Where is Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli?
Trimming on, big on,
Have
boys.
they gained any ground? They were 21 seconds
Okay,
behind
just, I think
at the bottom
pressure's
gate.
better inside here, Ben, General.
And they've made up
He's
some
following,
time.
Yeah, he's
Not a
following.
lot,
I think
but
he'll
they've
bear
made
away
up some
jibe.
time. 18 seconds.
We match him. Getting light here. Pressure's better inside.
Want to
I
jibe?
think so, yeah.
Stand by.
Ready?
Okay. 40. Lefty. Pressure.
Board.
Ride this out a little.
Yeah.
That's it.
I will.
Okay. Tail higher than that. Okay, 29s.
Just going straight.
Yeah, copy.
Actually,
He'll be rebuilding it on
quite soft on the other side.
Go straight,
Light to him underneath.
Yeah, we'll go a little this way then. Do you want to have a look, Pietro, Montro?
Yeah, yeah.
Onboard
Oh, same
commentary on
pressure.
Luna Rossa.
Right.
Pietro
Stand
Sabello
by.
taking a look for the breeze. He's really, especially
3,
downwind, Shirley, he's been
2,
a much more aggressive
1.
part of the afterguard. Tactical decisions.
Very experienced 49er sailor from the Olympic circuit, and as this event has gone on, he's become way more vocal, way more useful on board.
The deeper we head into this race, the more confident INEOS Team UK and Britannia looks to potentially bag their first win of this Prada Cup Final Series. Ben Ainslie has been going on about saying we must sail better. Clean start by both. It was always suggested by Nathan Aldridge on our Chase Boat 1. If they can get a good start, then it's a race and a half. Well, it's becoming more than a race and a half. This could be 1 point in the bag for INEOS Team UK.
INEOS are tramping away early on this leg. I think they got extra wind, good angle. Goodness, they've nearly doubled the lead.
My wheel forward. My pitch.
Okay, 30s.
Something about that slippery Italian boat, you know, just how it goes through the water, how it glides. I don't know. If I were on this boat, I would still be fearful. This is still Luna Rossa conditions. Let's call it that way. This lighter air.
Even with a lead like that.
Oh no! Hey, don't get me wrong. This is dominant right now, but still, those guys behind, they're not. I keep saying it. They're not slow.
Pushing out to the right-hand side on the next downwind, and then we'll just have a look where he is.
Cracking shot of virtual eye, looking at your course number E on the Hauraki Golf Waitemata Harbour of the Maraitai Beachlands course, which actually wasn't one of the favoured courses at the beginning of this whole series. That would have been course C. The because of restrictions. We're out on course the back paddock. Well, the back paddock right now is doing okay for INEOS Team UK. They like to muck it in.
Oh, you're here. Okay, perfect. Good pressure coming now.
Such a lot of pressure in this race for the British outfit.
Pressure.
They had to deliver in the start.
Pressure, both mental pressure and Goody, it looks like physical pressure. Nice pressure out there in the race course, breeze-wise.
Yeah, no, the breeze looks to be up just a click at the moment, which I think the big difference between the teams at the moment is that the British guys are managing to exit their drives just a little lower, and it seems to be a little nicer, but then I think some of that's coming into the gym. And it'll be interesting to see what Prada do.
Charge and then take it back.
INEOS Team UK complete 4 legs of 6 in race 6. And they have stretched the lead. That's right, we're talking about INEOS Team UK stretching the lead on Luna Rossa, who have been so dominant in this Prada Cup Final Series. How
So at the
the
moment,
world
we'll go
can
for leverage,
turn.
just normal rounding to righty 2.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli,
Hey boys, normal turn up.
about to complete
3,
leg 4 of
2,
6.
1.
It was
Here we
18
go.
seconds at the top gate, 32 seconds at the bottom gate.
Up. Max is more fun, Sean.
It's amazing how much faster you look and feel when you're ahead, Shirley. I mean, these things sound like obvious comments, but INEOS, the whole package just looks better this race. I mean, it looks more crisp, it looks under control, the communication on board is better. What a concept.
Well, you have to ask the question, because we keep saying, why, after dominating the round robin series, did they fall to 0-5? Well, I keep asking the question of you guys, had they maxed the performance of the boat out? And you keep coming back to me quite right and saying, hang on a minute, pal, it's about the sailors and people doing the job on their boat.
Well, they do things in chunks, obviously. They went 0-5 in the Christmas series. Sorry, 0-6 in the Christmas series before then winning the entire round robin. Now they're back to 0-5, so maybe, hey, maybe this is just how they do things, you know?
You think Subinanzi likes that? I would say no.
Shirley's been saying all
That's
along
not his MO.
he likes getting behind early and making great comebacks, right?
He's renowned for it.
He's got a little
absolutely
breathing room
renowned
there,
for it.
so I think any time.
What do you want to go here?
Yeah, any time from here. I think.
Okay, setting up.
Crossing. My pitch. Yeah. Ready.
1 boards down.
On it.
Pressure is generally down.
Yeah.
We're hearing that high level of trust between Ben Aisling's tactician Giles Scott. We got so used to hearing
we got a phase in
back in
this
the
one,
round
Ben.
robin.
Copy. No look tack, bleds.
Copy that.
Is he still on port?
Still on port. Port down. Set up.
Port down. Turning.
Luna Rossa's come back into him a little bit on this leg here so far. And Goody, you think this is a wind strength thing? Because I heard Ainsley say that breeze seems to be dropping a little bit.
3, 2,
It's hard to tell from up there. It looks very similar to breeze to what it was earlier. I think as we talked about the jib sizes earlier, the bigger jib obviously is a little slower through the tanks and a little better to exit the drive slower. I think what we saw on the last run, them stretch out a little bit, was a lot to do with the driving, and I think the more they tack upwind here, the more we're likely to see the smaller jib, just a little bit less drag through the tanks, make the gain and slowly creep back into this. There's going to be plenty more racing here, and I expect to see Luna Rossa just trying to engage and get some more tacks in there.
So we are not race number 6. The lead has been sitting at around 270 metres between these two boats. Look at it now, it's at 140, 30 and counted down. So,
he will not make it.
Wow, this next cross.
Looks like a left-hand shift out there right now, though, Nathan. What do you think?
Yeah, just us in the lay line, I think.
Copy.
No problem with him.
Didn't hit him on the first encounter, they did him on the second one, and I guess that course, they wanted to get to the left of them. This left shift that's coming across the course. It also means they're going to make the top mark with one more tack to go. So Luna Rossa there have just made their tack. They've got another one to go. INEOS are going to make leyline.
A little more pressure coming on.
I think they're going to go all the way to leyline here as opposed to hitting them.
Slow trim on,
they're
boys.
just sort of selling the wind a little bit more than their competitors.
Nice little gain back.
Pressure just went down a bit there.
Little gain for Luna Rossa, as you can hear Jimmy Spittle say.
45, I think we can get the
INEOS still have a big enough lead, a comfortable
I think for the
enough
moment
lead.
we go one on them right.
They should be able to hold on to lead at the top mark and stretch around the downwind.
Yeah, pressure's going to be
22
good.
canto.
Okay, nice there. Let's set up here, Betsy.
10 seconds on the box. Ready? 8 on the box.
Amazing shots of these things just ripping through the water, isn't it? You just can't get used to this. How the world of sailing has changed forever thanks to this class.
And you never get tired of it. Never get tired of these AC-75 falling monohulls that comfortably, in a blink of an eye, hit 40, 45 knots.
Pressing.
Coming into this top mark, they probably went out once we zoom out. Looks like INEOS is on ley line, but that's also going to create a split. I mean, the Italians are slowly coming back into it.
Okay.
How big is this moment as we finish the penultimate leg of race number 6?
It's going to be a split at this gate as well. I think you're going to see INEOS roll into a jibe pretty quickly and try to stay in the same water on this downwind leg. Wow, big comeback.
INEOS Team UK running the top gate for the last time. But they are now being the hunted from Luna Rossa. It's not that far. They have dragged in some time, believe you me. It was 32 seconds to the bottom gate. It's 9 seconds with one leg to go. Hold on.
Driving, but good phase.
Surely I'm surprised they didn't go earlier. Again, they're just spreading out the race course from time to time here. A little more than would be for my liking, but it just looks like the boat, maybe they're not quite as comfortable either in their boat speed or their ability to maneuver.
I think it's quite patchy as well, and we saw that on the Upwind Leg. You know, there was moments where actually it was quite light, and the lighter it gets, the less confidence INEOS is in manoeuvres.
Yeah, you're right. It is looking a little bit more patchy out there, but I think INEOS did a nice job there, just jiving on the front of an edge of pressure. I think they timed that quite well. It'd be interesting to see here what happens behind, because they're running down the course into a couple of lulls as we look further down the course, just outrunning the pressure bands.
That's an intersection back for 2 and in finish. Down a couple there.
Tension has just ramped up a notch on this final leg of race 6. Although that INEOS lead has just expanded somewhat.
In front, though.
It was
He
around
jives,
50
we jive
odd
at the moment.
coming into the top gate. Now it's expanded up to around 150, 160, and it keeps on going.
2, 1, pause down.
Nathan, final stretch of the racetrack here. Which position, forget the ahead behind position, which position on the race course do you like from a breeze standpoint?
Yeah, Paul's saying it's actually lighter as you go down the course, and these boats are traveling faster than the wind speed, so it's almost as if the boat behind has the advantage because they're staying in the breeze a little bit longer. So INEOS, this lead is going to keep shrinking. It's going to get tighter and tighter all the way to the finishing line, and it's all about INEOS trying to just stay between Prada and the finishing line. I think they're far enough ahead to make it comfortable, but to answer your question, definitely more breeze up the course, getting lighter towards the finishing line.
It's all about controlling this final leg.
And INEOS just did that, Stephen, by jiving in that position, gave up maybe a tiny bit of their lead, surely, but now you kind of feel as the boat ahead, you got a little more control.
There's no panic though in the British boat. They're just taking their time, manoeuvring when they want to.
The grinders might be panicking, the heart rates might be going through the roof, but that's what they're paid for.
racing towards the finish in the 6th race of the Prada Cup final.
Really well done by the British team. Coming into the finish line here, great control on this last leg. Very proud of them for a variety of reasons.
The Prada Cup final is far from over. INEOS Team UK are heading towards the finish line, and they will bag their first win in this final. It may be a small win, but it's a significant win. The comeback might just be on for INEOS Team UK. You can imagine the relief amongst this whole organisation.
2, 1,
and wherever you're watching around the world, if you're an INEOS fan, you can have a dance a little jig. And for the first time in the final, Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, get beaten. Rub your hands together, we got a race, baby. And it's race number 3 of the match, the 36th America's Cup. Te Rehotai, the defender, Emirates Team New Zealand against Luna Rossa, the challenger.
Alarm clocks just went off all over Italy. Get out of bed and let's watch some sailboat racing.
60 million race fans in Italy watching their team. And the confidence is huge. You go back to what Francesco Bruni said. He said after that last day of racing, they should have destroyed us. They didn't. There is bluster going on again.
Back on an even line.
Small pin bias, but very small.
Yeah.
Here's where they start analyzing the starting box, Nathan. They start analyzing both ends of the starting line. They have displays for everything, but the basics is which end is favored, just like any other boat in the world. Every once in a while, we got to bring ourselves back. Just because they're going 50 miles an hour doesn't mean that it isn't normal sailboat racing with wind shifts and bias to the starting line.
Yeah, exactly. We heard Francesco Bruni say the pin is a little bit favoured. It's just a little bit better.
Huge crowds in today because Auckland, New Zealand has come back to what they call level 1. Life's back to normal and we are racing. The expected temperature today in degrees in the city of Sails was 25. It is a beautiful summer's day. The harbour is pristine. And Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli into the start area. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go from race start.
Good.
He almost changing to wanting a win with
entry. You'll see on the right-hand side start in 2 minutes. In will come Emirates Team New Zealand, the defender.
I told you I could really work here.
2, 1, and away you go. Down.
Up on the breeze, boys.
9. Fight. You with it?
More.
1.
Luna Rossa came in a little bit late, Nathan. Kiwis on time. All of a sudden, this is a much tighter little chase mode than we're used to seeing at this time during the starting sequence.
Yeah,
Okay, the race committee, due to some spectators inside the spectator boundary, we have to postpone this race start.
Postponing it, sorry.
That's like having the wind being taken out of your sails. Just down there, so you've turned race committee. There are spectator boats inside the boundary. Race postponement.
I think the Kiwis would be kind of bummed out there. They were in a nice little spot. When you're coming into that area, you get to make the choice a little more easily if you're really up close to the boat in front of you, because there isn't that big gap and a larger time for anticipation. I always like that anyway.
Yeah, the goal of the starboard entry is to try and make that jibe as quick as they can and get on the heels of the port tack entry boat. Makes it puts more pressure on the other boat to get their timing perfect.
Yeah, I think
just confirmation. Race postponement. Race postponement. Spectators inside the boundary of the race course. Did you like what you saw from Emirates Team New Zealand at that early of what you saw?
Yeah, I think Luna Rossa maybe paid. Often we don't see a boat pay for being late coming into the starting box, but in that particular case, I think they did. I think they were 5 or 6 seconds late coming in, and all of a sudden you got the you got the
This is the race committee. We have posted a new start time for 16:23. 8 minutes to go.
16:23, 4:23 local time. It's under 8 minutes now to race start. It's race number 3 of the match. And the 36th America's Cup. Okay, so now we have to reset everything. Mentally, when you've been geared up and ready to go for that race start, say they pull the rug out. It's okay, those fans will be happy to wait.
8 minutes to go, folks. Where would you rather live anywhere else in the world right now? You're back to
level
one, and man, we know how lucky we have it here in New Zealand, don't we?
I was walking around this viaduct area that you see is now packed with fans, and you know what? You could physically feel a sense of relief in Auckland City, which was under level 2 guidelines. That, you know what? Let's get back and enjoy the America's Cup because it's all good here. And they're out on the water too and having a great time as well. But now we have to reset the whole mind game now. So if you're Emirates, does that work against you because you felt like you were coming in? Or if you're Luna Ross, you're going, oh, okay, maybe we just got out of that one a little bit.
I don't know, Nathan. I don't know what you think, but I always wanted to get going. Let's go. As soon as the race was on, for me, there was a sense of kind of relaxation. It was the pre-start. You know, it was all that build-up before the start that there would be some tension for me. I just want to get going at this stage. So I'd say both teams were slightly disappointed, but these are also some hardened veterans, and they've been through this before.
Oh, they've been through this before, and often when the teams have been here doing all their practice races, they're so used to delays and pushbacks and things like that. The one thing I have noticed is that the boats look like they've got slightly different jibs on, and maybe we could go to Shirley on the water right now. Can you spot the different size jibs, and is there any look at anyone changing jibs out there at the moment?
Yes. So the pre-start we just
Nathan, no changing.
We don't need a lot of
jibs. Actually, the Italians are practicing their time and distance.
And the
I guess they didn't quite get that right, so they're practicing a couple of entries. And they do look a little bit different. I mean, it's something we can hopefully get a closer look at for you. We're just heading over there now.
Thanks, Shirley. That's Shirley Robertson, our double Olympic gold medalist. Best eyes on the water as we take a look at Emirates Team New Zealand, the defender. We're not too far away, 5 minutes and 30 and counting towards start in race number 3. And we talk about starts. And let's go back to race 1. And because there was that attempted luff by Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli on Emirates in race number 1 of the match.
Yeah, this was actually much closer to being a foul than we ever thought. We went back and analyzed this, and this is what we see. This is what the sailors see from boat to boat and what we see from the helicopter. Jimmy Spithill was falling behind quickly and trying to take a run at Emirates Team New Zealand. The boat to windward and Emirates Team New Zealand, they have to stay out of the way if there's a luff. We didn't even think about this, but there's Spithill saying we're going to give a little luff here. He actually takes a right-hand turn, gives the other boat opportunity to keep clear, stay out of the way, which they do stay out of the way. And believe it or not, this was much closer than we thought it was going to be. So we're going to bring on what we call our keep clear border. And that's what the umpires are looking at. There's actually a diamond shape around the boats, and this is for their own safety because they got these sharp things sticking out all over the place. The keep clear border is what actually the umpires see. And, you know, it's really fascinating how close, Nathan, they actually came to a foul.
Let's follow it here closely. There's obviously reasonable space right now. As New Zealand start to go past, you see the luff begin, and watch how close these diamonds get to each other.
And the outside edges of those diamonds, according to Chief Umpire Richard Slater, got about 1 meter from each other. And that's what the umpires are looking at. And here we go. They're going 30+ knots. So this happens pretty quickly.
This is the race committee. The revised sampling period is complete, and this race is live.
It's not the boats themselves.
So does that mean if those diamonds overlap each other, that would have been a penalty?
By a centimeter, then that's the accuracy of this whole system.
Wow, closer than we thought.
There you go. See, I tell you something today. This is great.
I learn something every day from you, Kenny. Don't you worry about that.
Oh, please. It's usually so it begins 3 minutes and 26 seconds and counting towards the start of race number 3 in the game. Let's go up to Heli 1 and ask Paul Goodison, mainsail trimmer from American Magic. Has anything changed from what you can see up top, Paul, weather-wise?
No real big change from earlier. Again, it always looks like there's a little bit more wind at the top of the course. The marks are right in the middle of the motor E channel, and then down in the bottom of the stop box, still a little bit lighter. It'll be interesting to see if the Kiwis can get as close on the tail as the Italian ones they did that last start, because they were in a strong position there.
Thanks, Paul. Looking forward to your analysis throughout the 2 races today, 3 and 4 of the match. There he is, Peter Burling, helmsman, the youngest ever to win the America's Cup Winner in 2017, as the weight of a nation as his mate, flight controller Blair Chew. And roll these guys play. They look like pilots, don't they? They really do look like fighter pilots, and they are in these AC-75 flying monohulls, which are, I've got to say, every time we look at them hitting, they are just beautiful to watch. So here we go. Fourth entry for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, allowed in at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. They're going to be late into it. And on the right-hand side, the starboard side, in will come Emirates Team New Zealand. They allowed it to the start box at the 2-minute period.
Put them down. Same angle.
So this is kind of a carbon copy of what we saw in that first start, maybe even a little bit closer this time. So good, strong position for the Kiwis, but look out for the dirty air, that bad air, that wing wash of Luna Rossa right now. That's one thing that they have to be very careful and mindful of.
They will probably take if they come up, we go up. Okay, no? Good.
Looks like the lead back position by the Kiwis right now, to the inside, still with over a minute to go.
Okay, board just come now.
board's coming out.
Yeah, speed and do a recheck.
So we just check this last one.
Yeah, he's two boarding. He's one boarding.
Looks like he's close to not getting up to this line.
Yes. Probably he cannot shut.
Looks like the Kiwis are marginally off their foils.
Yeah, we
right
keep
now.
going
They got
forward, Jimmy, and then we do a last push.
Really strong
He's
position
losing
for
gauge.
Rossi here.
He's
He's
trying.
gas bubble.
Yeah, you can see it.
If he can get it up and going and lay the pin in, could be an even
I don't think he
start.
can shut. So he's due on the line, I think.
30 seconds to the start of race 3.
Yeah, 2 boards down, trying to slow up.
Time and distance critical to make the start.
Didn't increase here.
Happy to charge here.
Start to push now.
Good separation.
Only just on the pin, but all good.
Down a bit, maybe. Yeah,
Under
it's
one
good.
up here. All the way.
We are go. Race 3 of the match in the 36th American
Clear start.
Clean start by both. Emirates Team New Zealand, Luna Rossa, Prada
We are
Pirelli.
strong.
Same thing.
Boys, do the commentary for us, Nathan.
Good
It was
mode.
just two boats who were kind of in control, kind of okay with where they were.
He's
Even start.
He's a
As
little
they
lower, a
approach
little
the
faster. He is.
border, in that first crossing, remember, Prada will have to give Team New Zealand the right of way when they tack to port if they get into that zone, if they get into this zone. And you'll see Prada go probably fairly soon.
3, 2, 1, port down.
One. Forward. Good. Just cover. Can you call it down far, Andy?
Boys.
Okay,
Okay, main up.
Crossing. In front, they're in a leave out position. This is the
good angle for our
long way
higher.
across the other boundary.
Boys,
Luna
they're
Rossa
on.
can
Very
go
high build,
high mode.
I drive.
Won't struggle. We saw this several times against INEOS and also against American Prada having this high slow mode, squeezing the computer.
And a little better tap, surely. Going out to you on the water, it looked like, again, Luna Rossa was a little better on that tack, and when we're so close, just a few meters makes a huge difference.
They're on a little lefty.
Kenny, we're right behind them, and you're absolutely right. Also, Luna Rossa really quickly got to pace. I was watching their BMG as well, a knot or two higher.
I think it's softer in front
Just
here.
left New Zealand with no choice. Very, very impressive manoeuvring by the Italian team.
If he tacks.
Slowly coming on the breeze here.
Yes,
Slowly
yes.
coming on the breeze.
Paul Goodison up in the helicopter. You said
Better pressure here.
Italian
Nice
boat.
pressure here.
Surprising so far.
3,
I think again we're just seeing the forgiveness of the larger foils on the Italian boat. You saw it in the start, they just managed to stay on their foils. And just there out of the attack, they did a super nice job of just staying high and close and putting the lee bow on. And which inevitably led to New Zealand will probably be below their minimum tackle. That means they just have to accept the loss dive down through the dirt and build enough speed to attack. So a really strong position now for the Italians.
I think at the top, not much to play, it's quite even.
Moving up on leg number 1 of 6 in this third race.
What do you want to do when you take?
Early advantage, Luna Rossa.
Do you want to go on him or?
Let's see when we get there, because there's puff coming here.
He's taking here. He's taking.
I think pressure even. Pressure even.
Good, so there we go.
If you want to hit him is now.
Go one left, take the favour, go.
Hold it up.
No wide.
Good discussion of Luna Rossa. They're talking about, are they going to tack on him or are they going to go up into the boundary and minimise attack? They decided to minimise the attack, and really they're confident in their boats.
No kidding, and actually that was kind of interesting because you tack on the Kiwi boat in that spot, you shove them right
on the lane now,
over
so
to
we're
the
just
short
seeing
side of the racetrack. But yeah, this is confidence in your boat. When you just let it go like that.
But this comes as no surprise, surely, with the way they operated and got better and better in the Prada Cup. They just moved straight into the match with that same confidence.
Yeah, but remember, they tack better. So if you tack better, we think they tack better at this stage. If you tack better on the Italian boat, why not get the other guy tacking well?
And when we talk about tacking, Nathan, you always said, you know, you can lose distance on the tack, but maybe not so much with Luna Rossa.
Well, every boat tacking it there is losing distance, but they're just losing a little bit less than Emirates Team. That was what we learnt on Wednesday, and I'm sure all those teams have learnt similar things, but I'm just shocked that they didn't try and shut the race down quite early there. They've now set up for speed at the top gate.
And you let a fast boat have some breathing space. Here's the Kiwis right there. You would have had a sigh of relief. Thank you for that gift.
Exactly.
Left on the number.
Coming into the top gate, gate number 1 for the first time in this third match of the America's Cup, and it will be Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli carrying on from race number 2, and they will lead Emirates Team New Zealand around the mark. But have they let them off the hook?
There will be a split. They obviously did fine on that cross, but there will be a split on this run.
10-second lead to Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli when they head down on that first downwind leg. You take a look at a heads-up display. This gives you an indication of speed, the distance to the lead, and of course the most important thing, our velocity made good, Kenny, on the right-hand side of your screen as you see it there.
Potentially a bit lighter in 10 peak. Standing by. Yeah. Position.
It's amazing how, Nathan, a decision like that halfway up the first beat will actually have reverberations through the whole race. You know, so all of a sudden, you're trying to control the race course after letting the other guy go. Again, so far, no harm, no foul. In fact, you can make a case they've done better because of it, but it's still, it changes the race.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. You've got two options. Either you tack on your competitor and try and force the extra maneuvers for them, or get in phase and keep touching the race, or you actually are confident with where you're going. Maybe they thought there was better breeze on the left, we tack on the ley line, we keep it simple, and they've stretched out a little bit. I'm curious to know how it looks from the helicopter, Goody, because you got the best view on the sky right now. Is it even out there in terms of pressure, or is the pressure better on one side or the other?
Sorry? I think we just stay in phase.
Yeah. Really coming down through the channel. So what you'll see as you go from top to bottom of the course is that the middle of the course generally seems like there's more pressure. Out on the edges towards the boundary, it looks a little bit softer. I think that'll be really interesting to see if the guys decide to stretch all the way to the boundary to reduce the maneuvers, or whether at some point they just decide they're going to drive down the middle of the course. Pressure. But there's not many shifts out here at the moment, and the pressure looks quite stable apart from the difference between the middle and the edges.
It's coming as no surprise as we've seen in recent times as Jimmy Spedon and Francesco Bruni are taking control of a race. Let's go on board, hear the conversation.
This is good pressure, we go for the 1 and Uno.
Yeah, I agree. Probably a little more calm.
You're not coming up on the comms for your track?
Yeah, probably a little bit more to come, I said.
Yep.
Still on a little lefty. Tanking a bit of speed.
Yeah, a little build here coming up. Stand by. 3, 2, 1.
view of this Horsey, the back paddock, out of the eastern beaches up Maraetai Way. You can see at the top of your screen another large spectator fleet and a lead by Rosa.
Yeah, a little gain here, though, for the Kiwis, no question about it. Again, the race course became spread out, and when you're the
so nice ride here
it's
for
really
us.
one of the last things you want is constant splits to either side of the course. We saw that lead just get halved on the last crossing.
Emirates Team New Zealand were steaming down, but it will still be in the deficit. They will have to make another drive to get into that gate area as Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli head towards the downward gate for the first time. And they were around us, leading an Emirates Team New Zealand side that have made ground. It was 10 seconds at the top gate. What will it be at the bottom? Have they found any advantage?
Go air boys when you can.
It's not going to be much, but it's still going to be behind. Emirates Team New Zealand, the defender, 1-all in this series at the moment, has a 13-second deficit. They lost 3 seconds on the downwind leg.
Those gains they made down the middle of that course, they ended up having to do that extra gyro, one extra manoeuvre, and that's probably the 3-second loss. They might have gained 3 or 4 seconds, and then the extra gyro cost them a bit. Now they've had to do the difficult manoeuvre of the round-up tack, and here you see Prada tacking out on the boundary. I'd expect from here, Kenny, that they're going to face tack them on the next one and start to put a bit of hurt on Emirates Team New Zealand.
Right now, you'd have to, surely, if you're looking at these boats out in the water, this is a gut feel so early on in the piece, but you'd have to say that the Kiwis look to have a little advantage maybe downwind, and Prada maybe has a little advantage upwind. Is that fair to say from your vantage point?
It's hard to tell. I mean, as Goody said, it's quite a light wind and it's funneling through a gap. And so as you get to the edges of the course, it's softer, it's sort of coming in waves, and there's so many spectator boats. And the wind's light, you know, so it's struggling to get over all the boats. So it's hard to say, you know, the middle of the course is a lot stronger and it's patchy at the edges.
Under like pressure, middle right now.
My rake, my drop.
Well, if you're an Italian fan, you see Jimmy Spittle and Francesco Bruni tacking right on top of Emirates Team New Zealand.
Pressure increasing in front.
Breathing a little sigh of relief there.
On the wind here, boys, on the
Right
wind.
now, if you're a Team New Zealand fan, you're looking for Peter Burley to pull a bit of magic out and get back into this one, I'm guessing.
Pressure increasing. Nice.
Always inside the jib.
Maybe new to
Nice
your
again,
Stand by. 3, 2,
what do you do?
1, 4 down.
The magic right now is trying to find a little bit of extra pressure, trying to get a little bit of leverage, a bit of separation from the competition, try and find that little bit of extra speed, and if you can just start closing the distance down, start attacking, force an error from your competitor.
Similar to what they were doing on the downwind leg, right? Splitting the course and finding some pressure.
Yeah, but the big theme here is there is still this unbelievably loud rumor of a radical boat speed advantage. The Kiwis is actually not there. It is not there. These are at best even boats. At worst, you'd have to give a little advantage in the light to the Italians right now. It's really...
It is a beautiful boat.
Kenny, it's a really good point. There's lots of talk about boat speed differences, but it's also got a lot to do with the angles at which they're sailing. I think Team New Zealand probably are going through the water faster, and hopefully after the race we can get a bit of data to show the speed differences. But for me, it's the angles. It's how good Prada are sailing a high mode. Their tack losses look less with those bigger foils, and they look like they're sailing a little bit slower on average, but the angle they're sailing to the wind is narrower, so they're ending up doing less distance. So in these lighter winds, the bigger foils are working for them right now.
Yeah, I completely agree, Nathan. It just looks like they've got more of an ability to do the modes they want. It looks like the New Zealand boat has to really get the speed up for the manoeuvres. They have a higher bottom speed through the manoeuvres. It just looks like the Italians are more forgiving, easier to tack at a slightly slower boat speed. And
the lays again.
High mode is what really putting them in some big gains at the moment.
Going in 3, 2, 1, 4 down.
Lots more more tacks on this bit than the first up in New Zealand.
Pushing them to the short side. The short side of the track is the bottom side of our screen right now. So they're gonna slowly but surely keep trying to put the pressure on it. Goody, we had a question this morning from on these boats. All boats have a wind shadow, a shadow coming off the bad air coming off the lead boat. What do you think the length, the distance is of wind shadows on boats going this fast? Is it different from the boats that people sail at home, or is it about the same?
I think it's probably bigger because the line gets into the wind shadow much faster. So you see quite a big dirty area behind the boats, and because there's such narrow apparent wind angles, that extends straight behind them. Not so much down to leeward, but it's more straight behind them and a good couple of 100 meters back.
Biometrics of the grinders, northern crew, heart rates, breaths per minute, body temperatures, just a little something special for the match we bring to you here. Wherever you are around the world in the 196 countries taking this broadcast, this is race 3 and we're about to complete the halfway point, and it's still Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, the challenger of records, will complete the third leg ahead of the defender, Emirates Team New Zealand. Calm and controlled racing again from Luna Rossa as they round the mark. It was 10 seconds at the first mark, 13 seconds at the second mark. What will it be at the third?
This is a stretch, Nathan, and a good stretch, and that was one of the best legs we've ever seen this Italian boat sail, in my opinion.
Couldn't agree more.
Emirates Team New Zealand being left in the wake of Luna Rossa in race 3.
Yes.
They will round the mark. 27 seconds behind the challenger.
Wow. Who saw this coming?
Nobody in New Zealand saw this coming.
That's fair. Everybody in Italy saw this coming. Is that what you're saying?
Pretty much.
We're just going to roll into this a little bit more.
Virtual Eye giving you just a beautiful look at this course speed. Not the favoured course, by the way, from the race committee. It was always going to be course C, the stadium course, close to the city, so the crowd could get around and see it from vantage points.
Yeah, but course C, it's out in the back paddock and it's quite stable out there, you know. It's a race course more about boat speed. You know, if we can come into course C in the coming days, now that we're back at alert level 1, it's shiftier. There's more current, there's more local knowledge, and
little trim maybe.
Maybe that's what Team New Zealand need. You know, it seems like at least in this lighter breeze, they're not quite quick enough. And we get back into the shifty conditions over the weekend in course C. We could see a very different event.
No.
Got it. Good. Play the phase, guys.
Little trim, boys.
They've done a really nice job of the aero package on this boat. It started out without those little cowls along the side of the cockpits in the front of the boat. Those have all been additions during the event as we've been sailing since the middle of December, and gets these crew members out of the way. Aerodynamics is such a large part of this new sailing world, this new sailing style that's taken the sailing world by storm.
On board Emirates Team New Zealand.
Very quiet at the moment, isn't it? A lot of concentration.
Okay, just going boundary job off. Next best shot.
The moment Lloyd is the one in your left.
A lot of boats out there in the water watching today. Either
it's a Friday.
I think a lot of jokes. Does anybody work with New Zealand? Not during
Not when the Americas come.
Not in Auckland, at least. Going to this new alert level, it'll be a holiday anyway.
A little smaller jib, isn't it, Shirley? But this boat with the slightly bigger mainsail, we think, and slightly smaller jib. This sail combination certainly looks like it's working from our vantage point.
Boys, here we go.
Yeah, they just look like they have a little bit more power. It's more forgiving, and I know we've been saying that a lot about them, but you know, throughout the manoeuvres, upwind and downwind, they've no concerns. It's actually quite light at the bottom of the course. It's, you know, 8, 9 knots. But they always seem really powered up, and I think the Kiwis less so, you know, bigger angles coming out of manoeuvres.
Right too, which is good for the
you know, it's much harder. I think you're right. I've been watching the numbers as we come down this run, Kenny, and the Kiwis have a bit more depth for sure.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli complete the fourth leg. They're on their penultimate leg now, heading on the upwind. It was 27 seconds at the top. What would it be here? Well, as we sort of suspect, a little bit more downwind speed from Emirates Team New Zealand, but it's still 22 seconds and there's a long way to go.
With a last-minute jibe too. That's that was a nice little game by the Kiwis. On you know, don't ever count these guys out. Luna Rossa, toward the end of a race, very quickly gets back in line. So yeah, interesting, fascinating actually.
I keep coming back to the press conference after day number 1, and he was very relaxed, Peter Burling, but he did say he'd given us just another half a leg. We've got to run him down in that second race, but it's nonsensical because you've got to be on them. You can't be that far away and then say, I need another half a leg. This is the America's Cup match, for goodness sake.
You better start running fast right now, boy, because this is not an easy. This is a big mistake by the boat in front zone right now, isn't it, Nathan? You're not chasing down from what we've seen so far with pure boat speed from a 300 meter deficit.
No, it's looking, put it this way, these conditions are probably the easiest conditions to sail these boats. To sail these boats a lot. How difficult is it right now to be making crew errors? These guys are really well practiced. It's got to be some of the easiest conditions to race the boats in, so we're not going to see a mistake.
These guys are at the top of their game. You can see so far everything's been really crisp, really nice. I see the Kiwis are just managing to exit their jibes a little lower than the Italian. Have to be at a lower angle, and that to me seems where the gains are. But unless there's a big crew handling error, then it's going to be really difficult to drag this down. The Italians just keeping it tight, and I think they don't make any mistakes, and it's another win on the board for the Prada team.
Let's just talk quickly what Paul was saying. Kenny, you know, exiting things a bit lower, and is that giving them an advantage?
Oh yeah, for the Kiwis downwind, that's an advantage, no question about it. But I would go the counter to that. I think the Italians are exiting more effectively upwind. So we're seeing differences between the boats. Listen, the boats are different. The foil packages are different. The sail packages are different. The hull shapes are different. There has to be differences between the boats. One appears just a little more efficient downwind, and the other appears a little more efficient upwind so far. And Nathan, if I had a choice between a boat that's better upwind or downwind, I'd take the upwind boat every day of the week.
Well, you spend more time going upwind, don't you? You know, you're sailing a slower speed, you're generally doing wider angles. You know, I'm sure we could find the percentages of upwind and downwind, but if you're quicker upwind, you can take control of the race from the start. You spend more time going upwind, you can hurt the guy behind you, and then when you're going downwind, you instantly accelerate it and you get further ahead when you go around those top marks. So most boats win a race, it's always about upwind performance.
The penultimate leg of the third race in the match, leg 5 of 6, and it's a strong lead to Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. The scorecard at the moment is 1-all. Are we simply seeing again control from Luna Rossa?
Oh yeah, well, control. You got your choice between wind shifts and kind of tactics on the water versus controlling your opponent and keeping them to one side of the race course. I wouldn't be surprised to see another tack here right on top of them and make sure that they just have split the course in half. To always go to the short side of the race course, and hey, it's much harder to pass. Slow in that tack, though, didn't they, Nathan?
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest attacks. Looks like they're maybe not completely affecting them. Goody, what can you see from above? What happened in that tack? And are they on their breeze there?
Might have.
It looked like a slower turn. Whether there was some sort of ventilation on the board is quite hot. But I think the Kiwi boat has clear hair right now, so they might not have to spend an extra tack to get to the windward market this time, because it just looks each upwind, they're just forcing the maneuver from the Kiwi boat. And every extra maneuver in this sort of wind is a 50. I think that's what they're managing really nicely at the moment.
Yeah, Goody, we can see that the shots we're looking at right now, it just looks like Luna Rossa are pointing significantly higher. Like, look at this shot from the helicopter behind. One boat sailing almost 5 degrees higher than the other. And, you know, we've been watching Emirates Team New Zealand. They haven't made any mistakes. The crew work on board looks slick. You know, the manoeuvres are good, but to me, it just doesn't look like their boat's motored correctly for this lighter wind.
Better attack there, boys. Nice.
I wouldn't call it a slow boat. Surely I wouldn't call this a slow boat, would you? It's just another boat's being sailed a little better right now.
Yeah, and we're seeing slightly different conditions today. We're learning, Kenny, every day.
Yeah. Luna Rossa, Prada Cup heading towards the 5th gate and the homeward run in race number 3 of the match. And they pretty much haven't put a foot wrong.
3,
strong, confident, and smooth.
Okay, all yours.
1 leg to go for the challenger of records. 22 seconds it was at the end of leg number 4. What will be the leg number 5?
Every upwind leg, this is becoming a bit of a trend.
Nice pressure at the mark. Nice angle there. 8 seconds away.
Finally getting to the gates.
5.
The margin is
2, 1 leg.
Strung out just a little bit more in favour of Luna Rossa Prada Cup at 38 seconds.
It feels like reasonable pressure here at the moment, Pete. Yeah, I think we've got to go boundary here. Yeah.
Surely any passing lanes out there? I mean, just from our vantage point here, it just looks smooth and steady across the whole course. Anything big that could give these Kiwis hope?
We're on the right, yeah.
It's just as you see it, it's really steady in the middle of the course. And, wow, it's an impressive lead. If you're a Kiwi, what are you thinking now? There's 3 days of these kind of conditions forecast. This is a big race.
Now it's a little bit better.
Quite simply, if you're a Kiwi, the odds are being defied. All the so-called chatter.
My travel, you want to go and have a check in?
The paper, it's written off.
You've been in the media your whole life. At least Nathan and I are new to the media, so we're new to this guessing game. I mean, you media guys have created this.
Stop pointing the finger. The one thing we've got to remind ourselves, that boat that you were looking at right now is being sailed to perfection. It was in race number 2 and race number 3. They pretty much haven't put a foot wrong. And look at that lead for Luna Rossa. They're doing a job on the defender.
Soft here, boys.
This is all about development. If you remember back to December, these guys were quite a bit off the pace, but remember, they didn't have their final set of foils on. They've done a lot of aerodynamic changes to this boat. I bet you they've changed the rudder, they've changed the way they sail the boat. New sets of sails. Max Serena said, it's all about upgrades.
But you know, when we go back to the Prada Cup and they all released their boats, the one boat that hardly changed physically to the eye was Luna Rossa. Everybody else, their second boat came in, they were dramatically different. This boat you're looking at right now, you had to look close to find the changes.
Pretty good straight ahead.
Yeah.
They like their
Sorry,
new.
I put you again on this
first boat. Their first boat had some structural issues, or they said they could have sailed their first boat, but it did. They built it light. They built it light on purpose. Sure enough, the thing was busting apart half the time. They built almost the same boat this time around, but like Nathan said, it's all those bits and pieces that make a big difference, and we're seeing this come to fruition.
3, 2, 1, turning.
Nice race, guys. Yeah, you said that.
sport is all about moments, pivotal moments. And I wonder right now whether you are, whether you're watching around the world, wherever you are, we might be seeing a pivotal moment in the America's Cup match on the Hauraki Golf. Because Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli has just won another race. They go ahead 2-1 in the match against the defender, and you can bet those fans of Luna Rossa are pretty happy about that. That was a statement race.
Got to do it again. Regroup, start all over again.
And meanwhile, in the background, in come the defender. And it must be so disheartening knowing he just can't get it.
It could be an aberration. Let's do it 2 in a row and then we're on to something.
Emirates Team New Zealand crossed the line to complete race 3, but they don't get the point. 37 seconds of drift. They picked up 1 measly second on the downwind leg, and they are now up behind in the match. Scorecard stands: Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli 2, Emirates Team New Zealand 1, and there's another race to come. It's worth a wow, because that performance by Luna Rossa was strong, and it was a building performance. Treat for Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. They're allowed in on 2 minutes and 10 seconds, as it has been for these regattas, and away they come in, sitting just under 40 knots. On the right-hand side, starboard entry will be INEOS Team UK. So let's see if the question is answered. What can INEOS Team UK and Sabinazzi do to something dramatic to salvage this campaign and head into tomorrow?
Be coming around the bow in a minute.
All right, we haven't seen this before, Nathan. This is a little bit of a
pretty square,
tighter lead push position than we've ever seen. So they might have some little trick up their sleeve.
Just on starboard leg. Time-owing starboard
Yeah, for sure. They're going to push hard on this. I think Goody's right. The boys if they want a chance in this race.
A minute. Inside starboard leg for us. Left shift.
2, 1.
17 to boundary. 16 to boundary. 10 closest.
4 down.
Pressure even on the doors.
Coming up in.
Clearing board then?
Yeah.
Okay, going board.
Jive early there. And Ainsley's boat. He's the one who's vulnerable to a hook right now.
Trimming up.
Full speed on the
Killing 8
Jived himself in kind of a tough spot. Early back.
Killing 9 to the pin.
Your wheel.
My wheel.
Force him on the down. Get on his breeze, get on his breeze.
Coming on his breeze.
No, don't come away too much. Okay, nice, mate.
We got him good.
Yeah.
Nice there, 26s, boys. No problem here.
Full tech start.
Building here now.
Yep, 26s. Okay, he is laying
on. Do a port tack start, so they think
got to take height now.
They think that Ainsley's actually on time at this stage.
Nice pressure here.
He's actually given into a port tack start.
No, we're early here.
To attack.
Yeah, easy touch. Just make sure he doesn't lock us out here.
He's still early.
They are both early. There's no question they're both early. Both could be starting on port tack at this stage. Ainsley might not be out of the woods yet.
Come out of this.
Okay, got it.
No, don't think so.
Protest up from Luna Rossa at the start of race 8.
Yeah, I will flag it.
I will.
No lower.
Whoa!
Okay, good angle.
Come to the line.
Game on, race 8.
Big on, boys.
He got penalty. Starboard. Ainsley was still so early, he had to tack.
The Italian boat crossed the line early. They must slow down 50 metres.
20 knots there at the moment.
Yeah, it's just super low here.
Okay, boundary 35 away.
Solid tack start, race number 8.
Italy OCS have about 20 metres to kill.
Good speed there.
20 metres, do it out of attack.
20.
Yes.
Breeze is a little in the left. I think we just boundary tack here. Looking to keep it simple from here.
On that penalty for crossing the line early.
Italy, this is the umpires. Italy, you still have about 17 kill. Clear, penalty complete.
Down. Clear, go boys, go.
Copy that.
Okay, going board. My pit, 22s, my wheel.
Got us crosswind,
Let's go back
guys.
to the start. Let's try and figure out what went down.
Pressure.
This is going to be a tough one to figure out.
Got him just ahead of crosswind.
I think we are
close. Yeah, we're across him. I don't
Race
think we
8,
can.
Prada Cup final.
We're too close to try and tackle him here, unfortunately.
Gotta be fast. Is he a duck or not?
Small duck, come fast.
Yeah, coming down. Yeah. Fast here.
31.
He's pressing a
And
little.
coming on the breeze now.
Should be on the breeze.
Nice there.
Nice.
Well, surely they got ahead. I don't know how they did it, quite frankly. In that start, they were in a really vulnerable spot. It looked like a port starboard to me. We'll try to get Richard Slater in here in a bit to talk about that whole pre-start. There were buttons being pushed, fouls being accused, and at the end of the day, INEOS got what they needed to get. They got ahead on that first cross. Let's see if they can hold them back. Here it is. Here's Luna Rosa on starboard, INEOS on port.
Yeah, I will flag it.
Boy, that's a tricky one for me. But they get in here, they get over the line early. We got Richard Slater with us right now. Richard, talk about this port starboard.
Yeah, Ken, we had a GBR were able to cross, and then Italy at the last, after they tacked, altered course up, which means they've got to give them the room to keep clear. So we treat it as in our terms, Rule 16 protection on GBR.
So, Richard, aren't they allowed to start the race, though? Couldn't they head up to start the race?
I'm not understanding your question fully, Kenny. They've allowed...
Well, watch, they have to turn up to go start at the pin here. So aren't they allowed to turn up and start the race at the pin? They don't have to go below the starting line, do they?
They had to go through. No, they had to actually go through the line, which they did. So they started correctly, and then Italy's attack or change of course was what suddenly made it become a collision course.
Okay. Well, we've had a change of scenery here while we were going, trying to figure out that start. The fast boat all of a sudden got fast again.
Pressure ahead.
I think he'll go straight.
Just want to try and build a little killer.
Okay, yeah. Form us from now on, guys.
Okay, we're looking one and then left here.
Building in 10.
So despite the penalty, despite the protest, despite being behind, look who's leading on the first leg of race number 8. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli.
Yeah, you'll go to lane line for right, we're going to go left.
Good pressure coming here. Little press again.
Yeah.
Getting a lefty. This looks good up there.
The
3,
British team needed to do
2, 1.
more. I mean, a 50-meter head start. It's not going to be enough, Steve.
My rake, my drop, good tech.
Aero mode when you can, boys.
Well, we have been saying flawless, but the start was not flawless for Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Probably the first time in a long time as they head towards the top gate.
The Brits come back on starboard tack here. This is kind of a final shot at this. I hate to say that so early in the race, but
yeah, we can go right gate and
once
early
Luna
jog.
Rossa gets away, they just tend to extend.
Yeah, no problem with it.
It looks like an easy cross at this stage coming into gate number 1.
So this is the top gate for the first time in race number 8 of the Prada Cup final. And it is Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli rounding the top gate for the first time. It's close, very close. But INEOS Team UK are going to have to be a lot closer. They're going to have to get past that very fast boat that's on its way down on the Downwind Leg. INEOS around the top gate.
Your wheel.
Okay. Okay, powering up.
BMG taking this pressure down this boundary. Doesn't look light for him over there.
Yep. Keep pushing, boys.
Just looking at the race course now as they head downwind, it does look like the INEOS guys are heading towards more pressure as they get over here. Luna Rossa do look a little bit softer, so I'd expect it to close up just a little bit at this next intersection.
We'll be sailing into a little bit lighter breeze. 20 seconds here. Good gains here, lads.
It sounds like the afterguard of INEOS agrees with you, Goody. And Nathan, down in the water, are you seeing kind of the same thing? Everything checking out?
Yeah, it does. It does seem like there's a click more breeze over on this side of the course. We're rumbling down the boundary right now, and it looked like INEOS will make an initial gain, but now they've jibed, and now they have to go across to that other side of the course, which is a little bit lighter. And towards the bottom of the course, you know, Prada's going to probably make a small gain. It's still pretty close, but it's hard to imagine that this isn't going to play out the way that the previous race played out with Luna Rossa just slowly stretching out. Just really smooth manoeuvres on that first beat. They didn't seem stressed at all when they were behind. They just waited, let the boat speed do the work for them, and they're back in front again.
We're going to have to do something pretty special here, Jello. So.
Yeah, copy that.
Well, we heard the voice of skipper Benny. They were going to have to do something special. They need some magic now.
Yeah, copy.
Still like the pressure here, Killer.
Might be able to save a jibe on him here as well.
I think Nathan was right. There was no stress or panic on the Italian boat when they got that penalty.
Yeah, keep riding this out.
They won the start, they came back, they got the first cross, but we heard Giles Scott saying we're not far enough ahead to leap out or to tack on them. All of a sudden you lose control. You let the fast boat split. We were talking about it before, Shirley, that as a tactician, you just love having a fast boat. Kind of make you look smart wherever you go.
Yeah, they needed a bit more distance there. Then they could have tacked on them and controlled them on the racetrack.
The other word you mentioned too, Kenny, that has been so important, control.
It's closed up. INEOS, more breeze. Look at the lead now. It's so close.
Downwind Leg for the first time in the 8th race.
I don't think he's laying from the... No, he's not laying.
Not much in this, Nathan. Nice little close up, but that's not right off the British boat here right now.
I think he won it.
Yeah, it is getting closer, and it all comes down to the lay line at the bottom mark. If INEOS are laying here, which I can't tell from around, if they lay, they save a manoeuvre. If they have to jibe again, we're going to get a split at the bottom mark. So either way, good news for INEOS supporters right now.
Pressure here. Good gains, lads.
They are going to get a split here. No question about it.
Nice low mode
this
here
is
at the
not,
moment. Nice pressure
this
for
is
us.
not the gate that they're going through right now. That was the start line.
Lay line on the boxes.
The actual gate is to
16
the
away.
right side of our
Just
screen.
going left there, so you've got to be a little bit careful this one.
My rudder. My trap.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, heading towards the bottom gate for
Just
the
the normal
first
rounding,
time.
boys.
Complete 2 legs of 6.
Good pressure around here.
Not too much in this one.
Turning up there. 3.
You
2,
know that NYOS Team UK will not give up. They will hang in and hang in all the way. It was 12 seconds at the top gate. Have they made gains?
Little build here. Pressing. Stand by.
12 seconds at the bottom gate. So yes, nothing in it, but they need more.
And the maneuverable boat is going to just stay right with them now. This is about as big a split as we're going to see for the rest of this race. Goody, you think you keep mentioning it? You think that bigger jib that INEOS is kind of forced to sail with to power that boat up? You think it's an advantage downwind, don't you?
Yeah, you can see that quite clearly from up above. They're just able to exit their jibes a little lower and just get lower wind angle. Big BMG going, but on the flip side, as you're going upwind, there's quite a lot more drag through the tack, and then it takes a lot longer to accelerate afterwards. So you make a small gain downwind, but I think they might play through a little bit up this speed if they're forced into more tacks.
You leave out tacks. Coming on. Just keep it at about 30
high mode here, which will be fine.
Nathan, they like that left side of the race course. At least they don't mind that left side of the race course, do they?
Got an intersection 20 out.
Nah, it looks pretty obvious that Prada, Jimmy and Bruni are very keen to protect the left side of the course. It is probably a click windier over there, but it was also a great opportunity to tack on their competition, give them a bit of dirty air and try and gain a few more meters. They're definitely not leaving anything to chance out here, that's for sure.
Feels like race 1 of the Prada Cup finals when Luna Rossa were in complete control. Follow me, we'll cover you all day.
They lose so little. I guess I guess, Paul, what do you think the loss is, the net VMG losses in these tacks? Is it, I've been told that it could be as little as 5 meters once the breeze is up a bit, but in this lighter air, what do you think they lose every time they tack?
In this sort of breeze, the 8-10 knots, it goes up quite a lot. You ain't seen like a 60-meter loss at times. As soon as you're seeing those 12 knots, then yeah, you can get down to those very, very small losses of around 10 meters. But in these conditions, you'd expect if you have to hit another tack, it's going to be an extra 60, 70 meters. And that's if you execute one well.
Yeah, copy that. So we've got 30 any time here, I think.
It's building a bit of stream.
Yep.
Stand by.
Crossing. Ready.
2, 1, board down. Turning.
Surely the Italians are going to just nail them right here. They're going to go right on top of them and force them back to the short side of the race course, which is the top of the race course, right where that boundary is. Sure enough. On cue.
Running out of options here on this leg. Just watching the distance so slowly growing between them on this upwind leg.
It's nothing radical. That was really interesting when we were looking at the numbers of the last race, how the boat speeds are actually really similar. It's a little deeper downwind, a little higher upwind, especially upwind. There's no question. I know we keep repeating ourselves on that, but it is really, when you're match racing and you have that little bit of height, oh my goodness, it's like the keys to the candy shop. You know, it's gold. It's fantastic.
Well, the goal today will be the Prada Cup.
Just about with options back from the other lane.
And inside that cup will be a key to the America's Cup match. And at this particular point in time, it's favouring Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, heading towards the halfway stage of this 8th race in the Prada Cup Final 2021 on the Hawaii Golf.
A little soft out of this, boys.
Copy. My right, my drop.
Kind of like top left, though. Around it.
Yeah. Focus on performance here, guys. One and in left. Nothing to worry about. Coming up a little bit.
Calm, cool, and collected, but we've seen in the past where when Bruni sounds calm, his heart rate is actually going through the roof. We'll try to dig up some of these numbers right now and see how calm he actually is.
A good boat on him.
I've got to say one thing.
As he said in a message the other night, the Italians wear their heart on the sleeve.
To worry about confidence.
And Francesco's a true representative of that. We were joking earlier about Chris Brittle's heart rate and Francesco's heart rate being on a similar level when one's a grinder, the other's a helmsman. But you really see that flair for him. But he's coming across to the rest of the team, the cool, calm and collected, just settling everybody down.
Down to 90 on the 89 on the heart rate right now, Goody, and so he's actually almost kind of normal. You can see that 122 that we were seeing before. One and in for these guys right now, just one tacking in, and minimize these maneuvers as much as you can if you're the boat in front right now.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli about to get to the halfway stage of race number 8. They are 3 legs away from a race win and to be crowned the Prada Cup champions and official challenger for the America's Cup. Still 3 legs to go, though. They round the top gate and head down on leg number 4.
Little soft, 10 meters mark. Good pressure.
INEOS Team UK heading to that top gate. They are now halfway through the race, but they are still the hunter.
Big down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Your wheel? Yep. Okay. Moving on. Nice. 5. Your pitch.
When it came out, Shirley, the INEOS boat, when it came out of the shed, the whole world kind of gasped. I mean, in a way, it's kind of interesting where the Prada boat has always looked like more of a boat to me. You know, the INEOS boat looks like, sure enough, a big influence by, let's say, a Mercedes Formula One team or something like that. I mean, just this crazy radical shape, these air tubes underneath that's feeding air somewhere into the boat from a windage standpoint. Just a radical hull shape that nobody's ever seen before. Just a crazy looking boat that may have an Achilles heel in light air, has had an Achilles heel in lighter air.
I mean, they have some incredibly smart people in all the teams, but you know, they do have them in INEOS, and perhaps, Kenny, they just kind of ran out of time. When we look at the Italian boat here, the Challenger record, they have a few more months insight into what the boat was going to be, what the design was going to look like, and you know, they're a more polished unit.
And when we talk about design, we have said this before. The difference between Luna Rossa's Boat 1 and the difference between Boat 2 was minimal. They felt from the get-go they had a boat that could perform. And it is.
Yeah, race committee, could we move the helicopter?
Thinking about going here, guys. Stand by. 3, 2, 1, 4 down.
Soft out of this, boys. Put off a power.
Nathan, you and I talked about this a while ago, how the same point that Shirley just brought out, how the two boats were so similar between hull 1 and hull 2 of the Prada team, where all the rest of the teams were radical changes from hull 1 to hull 2. It really shows they had that belief, that early belief in what they were doing, and really took a completely different tack as to how their evolution, their design evolution was going to happen.
Yeah, you're right, Ken. The fact that they've been able to just make refinements to Boat 1. You know, as you say, every other team's made huge changes to the hull shapes and things like that. And I think that comes back to the fact that they were involved in writing the protocol and the rule. They knew a lot more about what this America's Cup was going to look like than the other challengers, and so it's probably no surprise to them and the other teams that they had an advantage, and this advantage is actually being shown on the race course right now, and that's why in the America's Cup, being the challenger of record and working with the defender, writing the rule gives you that advantage, and that's why they went after that hard. When Emirates Team New Zealand were in Bermuda racing, they'd already done the deal. They wanted to get that advantage so that they could challenge them when they came to Auckland, and here they are. They're looking very slick. That boat looks very nice. Sailing team's doing a great job, and we always talk about these events are not won at the events. They're won in the years and the lead up to it, and this is a classic example of years of development and years of hard work giving you tiny little gains that are resulting to meters around the race course.
And the meters are piling up right now, Shirley. You know, that slow trickle, that slow, painful death at this stage. It's not in big chunks ever. It's a meter at a time.
Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli applying the vice grips to INEOS Team UK. They are about to complete leg number 4 of 6 and start out on the Upwind Leg for the final time. It's 34 seconds at the top gate. And around they go again. But they're going around the cones and Luna's driver's course, and just really nice and simple.
We go straight, good pressure straight ahead.
We get tight over here, all the spectators are turned.
Might not be quick enough for this, Jake.
Interesting commentary, Nathan. They're talking about that outgoing tide that you pointed out before the first race over on the right-hand side of the race course where Luna Rossa is heading towards. The boats are turning on their anchors, on their moorings.
INEOS Team
You can see that from down at the water. Sorry there, Stevie. You can see it down on the water here. All the spectator boats have changed direction, so we're nearing peak flood at the moment, or peak ebb as you'd call it. The current's coming out, so small advantage to that right-hand side for the current. That's what Jimmy was referring to. air, but the wind still looks stronger on the left, so really it's a pretty even track.
10 seconds here, just building a bit.
It's amazing. The sailors aren't just thinking about what's happening inside the racecourse. They're using the spectators and anything else they can see out here as indicators on where they should be going in the score.
Pause. What do you think, Killer? It's pretty even, eh? A little bit on left to me.
Yeah, left.
For pressure. We'll do a sort of a looser cover here.
Yeah.
Just dig into this a bit more.
Now we have landing this left.
Stand by. 3, 2, 1. We'll take this.
Giddy, you in the last America's Cup, you were on the Artemis team with Francesco Bruni. I mean, we've been so impressed with him here. He seems so cool, very methodical, and seems to have the entire team with him. I mean, tell us a little bit about the man and how much this is going to be meaning to him.
I think this is going to mean the world to him and to Italy. He's a bit of a perfectionist. He breaks everything down. He's very analytical, but he's also very passionate. And this is the biggest change I've seen in him in this America's Cup from last time. Last time he's very passionate, very exuberant. And this time it just seems like a much quieter, more focused, and he's getting the job done. I'm sure once they cross the finish line of this race, we'll see a little bit more passion from him, but it's impressed me how he's got this cool, calm, collected side while they're racing at the moment. If we just look out to the west here, we can see that the defenders have just warmed up and taken a little break and just watching the scenes unfold.
For all the right reasons. Nathan, you sailed 49ers against Pietro Sibello a lot, the main trimmer tactician on Luna Rossa. All of a sudden, we're hearing Spithill call him Killer. Why did they call him Killer?
Kenny, that must be a new nickname. I've never heard that one before. As you say, Pietro and I have stood on the podium several times side by side in the 49er class. He's a fantastic sailor, and it's great to see him really getting involved. And I honestly think the more we hear of that voice, the better that boat's going. So maybe it's the killer instinct that's coming out in Pietro that's making all the difference at the moment.
They're slowly coming up now.
Yeah.
The lead sits at just over 300. Well, it keeps up ticking up a little bit. 367 metres right now in favour of Luna Rossa Prada Cup, the penultimate leg of race number 8.
Down. Pressure.
It's more than just smelling the chance to challenge Emirates Team New Zealand now. I can use that cliche. They can probably taste it right now.
Like the top left, though, around the mark, Killer.
Yeah. Right, is here right now.
Okay, we'll hold now, just righty then.
Yeah.
Just do one and then we'll the job.
Yeah.
Good pressure over here. 3, 2, 1.
Question at length, Shirley, at the beginning of this whole circuit, the two helmsperson situation, and frankly a lot of people thought it was an insane idea. Others thought it was creative and maybe the coolest idea they'd seen in a long time. I don't think anybody was in between. Anybody said, yeah, I think it might kind of work. It was very polarizing, wasn't it?
It seemed so flawed in those early round robins, didn't it? They made, mistake after mistake. But saying that, there's 2 months of refinement, plenty of time on the water, plenty of time in the simulator, and now it's working. Wow, they're a solid unit.
And we're talking about coming up against a defender that has a single helmet, men going across to left to right as Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli heading to the top gate for the final time. They're pointing the nose of that beautiful boat downwind and they're heading home. And you know what they're heading home for? The prize, the Prada Cup.
My runner.
Sevens.
This guy Spithill's been there a few times before. I think
Little soft
he
here,
has
boys.
been in the America's Cup in the last 3 cups.
Okay, my Trev.
Winning 2 of 3.
Still soft for another 20.
How's my stats there, Shirley? You
Slowly coming down.
He's won 2 America's
starting to
Cup,
feel that
both
pressure now.
with Oracle. But he's been competing as a skipper in the America's Cup since his early 20s. He's,
My wheel.
2000.
yeah, he's been a
Hard down in 5.
lifetime career's work in this cup.
For the final time, INEOS Team UK round the top gate and head home. But they won't be heading home to a victory parade. They'll be heading home to ask questions. What happened? Pre-Christmas, they were nowhere. Post-Christmas, they were everywhere. They were suddenly the favourites. And now, on a Sunday afternoon in the Hauraki Gulf, it's going to be over.
Boundary jibe here, lads.
Just hold on boundary.
20 seconds.
Copy. Pitch.
Yep. Stephen, you know, we're not supposed to be partisan on this host broadcast feed, but and whilst all my respect and congratulations go to Jimmy and Bruni and the team at Luna Rossa, I'm sad to see this, to see the British team exit the cup at this stage. They've been through a lot. We've lived it with them. They put in the hours. And we've talked about Ben and Giles, but there's a lot of other guys in that team. Nick Hutton, Freddie Carr, the real foot soldiers of campaigns like this. And this will hurt. This is painful for all those guys on board. We heard from Sir Jim Ratcliffe in yesterday's broadcast, and my hope is a bright future for this team. They've brought in new talents and guys like Braden Mon doing the main sheet. Giles Scott, we've heard him step up massively. And I really hope that this is the beginning of a long cup journey for this very, very talented unit.
So a somber moment on board, but it's not done yet. The race is not finished, but now this is all about one team, one boat. Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli, the challenger of record, extending their lead on INEOS Team UK in race number 8 of the Prada Cup Final 2021 on the Waitemata Harbour, framed by a spectator fleet that had been treated to once again a slick, competent performance. Precision at its best. One little mistake in the first race, going upwind on attack, didn't matter. They adjusted in the blink of an eye and kept on going. And now on the final leg, they're heading to the match.
Got to start thinking ahead here. Emirates Team New Zealand, what are they thinking? They're as Goody said, they're sitting out there on the water watching this race, probably parked right now. They've been creating strategies against both of these boats, most likely. Well, it's strategy A, strategy B. Well, guess what? It's strategy A. We're going against Prada. We know they're great in this light stuff. We as sailing fans, as sport fans, are just hoping for a great match.
Bigger pressure.
The Challenger Series is all about, you know, the time spent creating, you know, the best performing team. And I guess we look forward to seeing if it's good enough.
And that could be the key in front of you right there.
Nice
Will
one, boys.
Helmsman,
Come on.
who finally figured out if you
Time
get
to
it
high
right,
five.
you find your communication, you can sail this boat fast.
Sì, siamo italiani. Che cavolo.
Here we go. It's a
Che
done
cavolo ho
deal
detto,
in
che
2021. For only the second time in their history, Luna Rossa will make the match and be the official challenger
Siamo italiani, oh.
and take on Emirates Team New Zealand. Only the second time the challenger of record has made the match. The last time, 1972. Spittle, Bruni Sibello have done the job. They're going to the big show.
Grandi ragazzi. Bravi, bravo Jimmy. Bravo
Nice
Jimmy.
go. Great work, boys.
Bravo Killer. Bravi tutti tranne Voltolini. Voltolini e Piggiotto.
I think we saw some high fives.
Bravi ragazzi.
There was whooping, there was high fives. They've been so cool throughout this entire series. But not anymore.
It was great to watch all their heads popping up out of... It's probably the first time they've seen a race course, all the grinders there. They pop their heads out just to see that finish and take it all in.
And for INEOS Team UK, 170 years of hurt continues.
It's going to turn up here.
They are done. 4 years, training, development, pain physically, pain mentally, and for that man who has led this team so proudly, INEOS Team UK
Sorry, guys.
are out.
Not going to happen. Good effort, though.
The tricky part of this course is going to be the top marks. They are right under Mount Vic and North Head. I mean, really big hills, 50 metres high, and the wind's going to be all over there.
3 minutes and counting to race start, race 9.
Neil, which side of the race course would you be looking at right now if you were tacticians on one of these boats?
Well, from up here, Kenny, it certainly looks like the bottom left is favourable. I wouldn't want to be getting bounced right early. It looks pretty light and flaky.
Not sure without hearing about flaky.
Yeah, but this is a sailor's race. This is actually, this is what most sailors love.
It's the first time we've had a good 15-knot wind to get a race underway. That's just got everybody's celebrating this today. 2 minutes and 10 seconds. INEOS Team UK are allowed in on point entry.
Okay, here we go.
Starts. And Gazump. Jimmy Spittle and Francesco Bruni to start and get one away cleanly.
All clear.
So in INEOS Team New Zealand, out on the right-hand side, you can see coming in your screen will be Vuitton Prada Pirelli on starboard.
To see with a little bit of pressure if these guys change up this kind of reasonably predictable format that they've been dancing around with in the pre-starts.
Yeah, Kenny, with a bit more breeze, this starting box is going to feel a lot smaller, so I expect the boats to go a little bit higher in the box, go up nice and high, and then veer away because they're going to go out of bounds otherwise. They're already sailing high, almost at the boundary with a minute 30 to go.
Probably we'll check around here, boys.
Matching your angle there,
You will be early. Taking around, boys.
He's going to go behind it. Good. A little bit. Turning up on the breeze here, boys. Yep. Hard up now, Hard up, yep. Okay, he's tacking. Board up in 2, 1, board up. Watch him.
Pretty early coming back. You can hear the
He's high, still 2 boards. He's pushing now.
Across there right now, making up a little bit of ground.
25.
Here comes the push.
You got us.
Yep. Let's get him off line line. Boards down. 2.
Mine need 2 here. There's your boat firing. Get ready, Joshy. Boat lay.
Let's just check the light line.
He's fired up still.
I think he cannot shut.
Still hard up.
Us
on the line.
2 boat lengths to windward. Okay, he's going to come up back to the
So he's going to have to land.
Gap between
Yeah,
the boats.
confirm it. He cannot shut.
Take off okay in this, but 7 on pin.
very early. Looking
We're going to probably drop down here.
Follow this channel all the way in.
New Zealand almost off
Holding
the
it.
trails
Getting
back
Okay,
on
you
the
would be
wheels
pressing.
here.
Heavy to take off. Yep.
Easy.
Going to be second.
He will be
Bearing
slow.
away.
Follow it.
Right here.
All the way.
He's 3 boat lengths on your windward.
We have a start in race the America's Cup match for Rossa Prada Pirelli, INEOS Team New Zealand, and this is a big race.
Listen, Burling did a little better job turning the boat up onto the wind. It almost looked like Luna Rossa skidded a little bit going into that, but they do have a nice gap. Can they hold this distance from the boat to leeward in order to set up, like we talked about before, that long port tack coming up?
It's all about the exit of this boundary and how the boats shape up. Let's just hear the chat as they approach the boundary.
He's working hard.
Forward up on him all the time.
Trimming up a little. Just off.
Little lefty coming in. 10 probably. Racing up off.
Has to be a
Luna
side up.
Rossa make the lead when the 2 boats tack.
We'll tell you when it's 1.
Build.
Coming down. Turning. Maybe a hard forward. Yours cover.
My right.
Steering go.
my drop.
No loss.
This is going to be touch and go all the way across
You're
the
good.
boats.
1 boat length, 1.5 separation.
all about mode choices between the two boats. Who's the faster boat? Is New Zealand being affected right now by the bad air? It doesn't look like it, so it's a full boat speed race still.
There you go, below that obviously. Yep. Going to be lefty coming ahead, pushing up a little bit, closing gauge. Okay, coming up. You're working hard a little here, Pete.
Peak in the middle of the race course that they have to dodge.
Okay, good angle there.
We are both into high modes.
He's going forward, pretty big knock on us.
Keep working the high mode here. This is working for us.
They love this high mode, Nathan.
30 maybe.
Yeah, it's working.
He could knock. Yeah. Okay, coming up, another 5. Okay, that's matching angle. Okay, another 5.
Really wanting to force Team New Zealand to tack in. Team New Zealand under the boundary and do the same back to them on the next tack. It's been in a long time.
Nice breeze,
Pressure here.
Yeah, at the moment this is working for us.
Pressure.
Right now is a massive.
Okay, good. This is good for us.
Pretty good. It's going to be a slow tack out this run. Will make it be easy.
But it's a lead change on the
lighter, but pressure coming back in 3.
Forcing the highest.
Yes.
Okay,
Uses that high mode, Nathan, to get the compression really well done because that was incredibly touch and go.
And you can see that also coming to the boundary in this red line here on the bottom. They'll make it in one. They can minimise the tap. Could be a big game for them also if they make it in one.
And keep starboard tack advantage.
Trav?
Yeah, crossing.
Good puff coming on. 2, 1. Staying a little high build to get it. Okay, now we go.
Yeah, good pressure on our left, on our right.
Got to do a little high mode here, boys.
Yes.
That was literally breathtaking. That long port tack.
Yeah,
Rosa in command for the moment.
90 to 80.
Boy, this is less than a one mistake.
Yeah, left marker looks good for pressure as well.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Potential split at the top right here. Left mark
Still going to hang high for this.
The transition before the left mark, you see?
He may have a piece on the left mark on us.
Yeah, here comes a situation where the boat's on the top of the screen.
He's got a piece on us.
If they want to take the left-hand mark, they could potentially get into that
Coming up. Okay, good. Sorry. Pass on the mark.
For the first time, it is 2 in race 9.
Go a little soft and then puff on.
Yeah, you see that we don't have pressure for long. 20 and then
Big lefty though. Big lefty.
Yeah.
Stand by, John. 3.
Little longer.
Little one here, little puff.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Go down.
Maybe even 0 feet real. Maybe to push it a little faster.
Surely we got 2 even boats out there right now. Which side of the race course would you be on?
Good pressure here.
My
trap. Really good pressure.
So to leeward, not so much for now.
We're right beside the Kiwis, following them down, and I like it here. There's like big puffs of wind coming down through that gap in the high land, and to me it looks good on this side.
Got you there.
Neil, what are you thinking? Do you agree with Shirley? Do you like the side of the course the Kiwis are on right now?
Still a lot to learn. Yeah, absolutely, Kenny. I totally agree with Shirley. They just seem to get massive guns there. Really, Mark really sitting down in it, which was quite impressive.
Starboard tack by the Kiwis. It looks like Luna Rosa is ducking behind. We have another pass.
Hold it down, boys.
Yeah. 7, right?
Breeze is stronger on that side of the track. It should be Luna Ross's
280, good pressure, we are in phase.
We're in phase, yeah.
He's going soft.
Meters in it, you can see they're gaining again slowly. It's going to be about execution. If Team New Zealand can make this next cross,
okay.
then you can say
Your
they've converted that lead, and then they're going to benefit again from that side that has more pressure.
He won't be on ley line, so...
Yeah, this side, probably we have 20 seconds on the other side, and then it gets lighter.
A lot more conversation off the boat.
The lift here?
No question. Shifty conditions tend to do that. Puffy, shifty conditions kind of force more communication.
Hi, Trav. Hi, runner, sorry.
Yeah.
Nice little puff here.
Goodness gracious.
Keep one in your left.
Literally nothing in
At the moment.
One little puff away, Shirley. One little puff away.
Poor C, why aren't we here all the time?
halfway back,
through the round robin series and the Christmas Cup.
Little build, getting
Starter attack now, advantage for the Italians.
Behind him at the stage.
Is anyone on the line at the moment?
2, 1, 4 down.
A big call jibing on Luna Rossi here.
No problem with him.
Yeah, no worries.
Heel, please.
Big
Come down, please, no problem.
Jives
No problem, guys. We'll be like it.
Yeah, copy.
He may not dive
here in a second.
I'll be able to lock him here.
Yeah, I think
He
we're
may not
okay.
dive here, please.
I think we go all the way. Go all the way, boys.
Sail him off the course. They have every right to sail him off the course right now.
It's going to be a jive round up if we go, okay? It's going to be a jive round up, okay? Jive round up, down.
Aggressive match racing by Luna Rossi.
Straight to the other man, I think, right?
Really tight turn for both boats.
Be a normal round up here, boys.
In this ninth race, Luna Prada Cup
1 turning.
INEOS Team New Zealand.
Two board round up, take.
Leg number 3. This is really a battle on the water today.
Jimmy Smith had his best in that really tight situation coming into that leeward gate.
All good, boys.
Forcing a tiny lead into a 100-meter lead with just a really aggressive match racing move.
Some happy Italian fans in the village at the moment, isn't there?
Nice breeze straight. Yeah.
3, 2, 1. Puff out of this gecko.
Holding their breath. It's interesting, Peter decided to go straight into attack there. It wasn't a great attack, but I think they gave up another 50
Trying to
metres.
get 0 here on heel, people, if you can.
But they got the split, so any right-hand shift and those meters, that 200-metre lead could start trickling down very quickly if we get a right-hand shift. Surely you're going on the side of the boundary. What do you see pressure-wise and boat speed-wise between the boats?
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, Nathan, we're on the right-hand side, this side of the Kiwis. I like the breeze on the right-hand side. It's puffing in, but when it puffs, it's stronger. The sky, though, over Auckland's got really dark, so remember, we are expecting a big shift to the left-hand side. And goodness knows when that's going to happen, but it's not far away.
Neil, can you see anything that shows a sign of that big left-hand shift that's anticipated later on in the day?
2, 1, board down.
Yeah, Kenny, it just looks quite patchy and shifty still, but it was quite impressive sailing from Luna Rossi downwind there, just to force Team New Zealand into a tricky leeward mark move.
There's one, boys. Big it's not on jump. Still got 20 to come down. Fine.
Hey, boys,
Trying to get
on that pressure. Trimming up, yep. Stand by.
Boundary take up.
3,
20 seconds.
2, 1, board down.
Yeah, working on it.
Good puff out of this.
A little earlier on the cut. Yeah,
Was the halfway point in this ninth race, but the completion of leg number 2. It was all going down the bottom mark.
So this is the night Jimmy Spill and Francesco really got aggressive and sailed them off the course. You can sail them as far as you want to the boundary. They jive the boat perfect tempo for their angle to go back to the finishing line. New Zealand had to go further. What was a very small margin, as you said, Kenny, gapped out to well over 100 metres. You can see here the boat speed differences are quite big. Really nice smooth rounding there by Luna Rossi. Aggressive sailing. And when you feel like you're a little bit slow, you could often in this situation have to remain aggressive.
The lure boat, the Italian boat, had the right of way to do exactly that. They had total control of the situation there. They jived to a comfortable angle.
Be a little soft for a while, boys.
But this is not
Yep, trimming up.
the Kiwi boat we
On the
have
wind here,
seen
boys.
is very fast in this condition.
Nice pressure on the bow.
New Zealand here sailed through to Lure. They were to tackle them, and it looked like Team New Zealand they went through to Lure. They might be gaining on that side, but it's going to be hard to sail around them and get the cross. Remember, when they tack, they're going to be on port tack, so the controlling position here is Luna Rossi, but there's a long way to go to this ley line still, another 30 seconds to a minute. We can see Timmy Zealand around the outside here and use the boundary protection. It's not a lead change until they make the cross. On paper, yes, technically, they've got the meters advantage, but until they actually cross, you can vote for a real lead change. It's a mathematical lead change.
We are gaining.
In good pressure on the right, or after the tag.
He's coming up a bit. He's building a bit.
Yes. Build here.
Good there.
Shots for tech.
You had his tack, obviously. He's going to be a boundary
All
side.
the way across the track, but again, they've done a masterful job of keeping
Helicopter path in the exit.
in a good position.
Two, one,
Really
back,
with
yeah.
nothing to spare.
Hold down.
2-1.
I think fast speed, full pressure here.
New Zealand's chance here to accelerate and get a hooky, but right now they are sailing in the bad wind of the other boat.
Pressure here.
It doesn't even look like both boats are laying. It still could be one more tack and left turn for both boats.
Yes, copy.
There's the wing wash behind the tail. You see the New Zealand boat went from dead behind the Italian boat down to the left to try to stay out of the bad air. You see the bad air,
You know what I mean?
the disturbed air coming off the sail plan of the Italian boat. You've got to position yourself to stay away from it.
I cross.
Yeah. Going 5, Pietro. 3, 2, 1. More down. Turning.
We are
Fast mode.
halfway up in the middle race of this America's Cup.
Some of this.
It is a
You leave me into this turn.
Yeah. You can go. Very much.
Team New Zealand.
Oh, it's going to be a little soft here.
Downwind on leg number 4.
Leaving.
Dive, I think. Bit lefty here.
Soft here.
How do you do the trick?
Go straight. Let's go straight for a bit. Victoria, boys, send it.
Stand by.
Got to get above his line.
You hear the Kiwis talking about getting above his line again.
Yeah, a little
Because of the
3,
disturbed air coming off the back of the Italian boat.
2, 1.
This is the perfect moment to go here. What do you see for pressure down wind here? Both boats are staying soft at the moment.
My trap.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think they're doing a picking intersection to pick up that breeze through the middle on the right, to be honest. And yeah, they've kind of got this in the position that they did in the last time. Would bring them down.
Coming down a bit. That's good there.
He's another 5 lower.
We're in the pressure.
3 boat lengths downwind of her.
Making small gains here.
275, right.
Both boats perfectly clear of the
pressure
other
to
boats
wind, so I
disturbed
wanna
there,
stay on
but
the
they always
side.
got to keep it in mind. We've seen that too many times during this event so far, how different the disturbed air is in these new modern boats that are going 3 or 4 times the actual speed of the wind.
We're going to go, you go.
Maybe have a look, Killer.
Even a little more breeze, a little shiftier conditions. Frankly, this is what the American Cup is about. This is the America's Cup race right now.
I know I'm sitting in
It looks soft a little at the moment.
because this is anyone's race.
Not a huge difference.
Everybody else
If they try, we try.
around the world will be the same mode.
2, 1. More down, I think. What? They will be in the boat. They should be in the
Five,
delta
then
now.
pressure is coming.
You hear Francesco Caprini saying we should see how Team New Zealand have jived into the bad air of Luna Rossa. The only way they can actually gain here is to sail high mode. The gas is actually coming out behind. In a typical boat, it would be out the front of the boat, but because these boats are doing, what, 39 knots downwind and 12, 14 knots a breeze, the gas almost comes straight off the back, and you can see Team New Zealand having to sail.
Better pressure the other way though, right, Killer? You see.
This is all about bottom mark approach, and the conversation on board now is going to be critical to see if Team New Zealand can get a split.
Copy.
A little one,
Looks okay, yeah, easy.
2, 1. Put down.
Get this pressure.
Yeah, it's coming, yeah.
That's it, finish. Yep. Good.
What are you thinking? 2 in right or 1 in left? 1 in left?
Get one of the left because we're getting a big punt there.
Yeah, I agree. Okay. Also, we are on a left here. So we have lefty then after the round. Good.
Still long way to go to the bottom, man.
258, 250 is the first lefty,
Yeah,
big lefty.
copy. Yeah. I'm just saying this.
Yeah.
10 seconds.
Keeping his eye on the wind and on the probably on all the instruments that are displaying the wind direction, wind speed, and he really kind of took them out of jiving there, didn't he?
He did, and you can see the lead has grown massively, but we've still got one more jive to go, and New Zealand has set themselves up for a split here.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
No, slower feet.
A little gain to him. May have a piece of ice for the left.
Feet drives inside us.
Yeah, I think we have to go right, boys.
See how he will.
No, we can go.
Easy, fast mode.
But it will be Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli that rounds the gate four first. Emirates Team New Zealand, both of them steaming in at plus 40 knots.
Nice pressure in front of us.
We got a race.
This is going to be good.
Okay, so the next one is the first shift. Shirley, when you see the wind right now, which side has got the first shift when they come together?
Around the course. No faster, careful.
That's a big question. We're on the right-hand side, and there's good pressure, but generally it has dropped. You know, Nathan, I spoke to Vasco Viscotti this morning, and he said we just have to nail Team New Zealand. We know they're lower and faster, and I'm worried now that perhaps that was a bit of a mistake. They've given them an open road to just use that pace. They're coming back together now. Let's see what happens.
Trimming up.
Yep.
It is going
pressure
to be
on the right,
close. Keep in mind the Italians are on starboard tack.
But
That is a lot of distance to give to that Kiwi boat.
I think he's just across.
Still on
We're not
crosswind.
crossing poorly bound, neither one. Yeah, we're behind.
Marginally further down. I don't think so at the moment.
No more
If we do, we protect the right.
All good, we're.
I don't think we have it.
Bit of breeze out here, I think, Pete.
No,
Like it right.
No, we don't have it.
Good angle there.
Cross, boys.
Lighter on that
Performance.
side there. Copy, so came out the front, 2, 1, now. Got him.
A good spot to come back up here, Killer.
Yeah.
Pressure coming here in 3.
Nathan, they didn't tack on the Italian boat, even though in match racing you would think that would have been a place because they were afraid they'd get broke during the tack. The other boat's going so fast, they were afraid they couldn't make that tack stick.
And that was a discussion there between Jimmy Spittle and Francesco Brini. Francesco Brini said, we don't have enough of to make this stick. They're very vulnerable to New Zealand either going above or below them. So now they're splitting, and it's in the weather gods right now. Is it going to be a left shift or a right shift or more breeze on one side?
You're the weather god up there. What do you think, Neil?
Yeah, to me right now, it's all about the right. New Zealand heading that way. I think if I was Luna Rossa right now, I'd be a little bit concerned about Team New Zealand on their, sailing their own mode to the right.
So Neil's calling a lead change at this next exchange. Big call, Neil.
The new guy called the lead change.
Got a just ahead of crosswind. Got you just crossing right now.
Check the pressure here in front.
Big focus on the performance here.
They've done a nice job of transferring that decision making back and forth.
Yes.
You're going to have to go in 3.
Yep. 2, 1, more down. Turning.
Attack. 2, 1. We're coming down. Turning.
See, there's a big hole on my right.
Pushed him back to the right.
Well, trimming up, boys, trimming up.
Despite
Mine so wide, have we
thinking
got?
the breeze is going right. Neil, now what do you see?
I'm still seeing some pressures on the right to me up here, Nathan. It'll be interesting to see how they go
Too much pressure. You think so?
There. Just got to find something to get back. There's one in the middle here near this mark, Killer.
They're protecting the left side of the course, though. This is their choice on the Italian boat.
When they come back together, they lose right.
Just go a little further here.
Surprising.
I'm just going to have to take this, Killer, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's go all the way just in case we lay a little build. Stand by. 3, 2, 1. Pull down.
Nice smooth attack. The real question is, has the breeze looked at that as a right-hand shift? It looks like Team New Zealand have taken the lead.
They made the choice. The Italians made the choice to go back to the left side. They had the right side if they wanted it. They made the choice to go back left. It doesn't look like that worked.
Early around the left turn, please. 9 right. Cool.
Emirates Team New Zealand heading towards the top gate for the last time in race 9. They made the right call, got the right hand.
Nice angle there. Happy to extend a little bit actually, Pete, out of this.
Prada Pirelli around the top gate,
8 away.
head home in front, but there's still a long way to go.
3, 2, 1,
Devastating for the Italians. A devastating call. They said such a beautiful race up until that moment. Just that choice in the shifty conditions to proceed. Just fantastic.
And Luna Rossa now another chaser, adding 18 seconds in the deficit. Can you believe what we've just seen?
Just a great race, first of all. A great thing for the sport of sailing. Surely this is exactly what the America's Cup is supposed to be all about. Pressure, hard sailing in tough conditions.
It's pretty exciting, isn't it? I mean, it's great. What a great racetrack this is. This was Grant Dalton's vision when they won the Cup in Bermuda, that it would be here on this racetrack, surrounded by fans. And boy, it's certainly delivering. A tough race course for the sailors. Neither team has a dedicated tactician. We've talked about that a lot. But today, you really kind of need one. And I think we saw that a little bit with the Italians. Some difficult decisions there where they let the opposition go, and that's costing them now.
What do you say? Good break.
One mistake.
Did you think Jimmy Spill knew they might have just made that mistake in his voice?
Absolutely, I heard it in his voice. Because it's the worst feeling in the world. You're on the left side of the course, and all of a sudden you're getting a right shift, and more of a right shift, and more of a right shift. You know you're going to test. There it is. There's how shifty it is. So we're seeing almost 18-degree shifts back and forth on the race course. That's a lot. That's a lot of boys out of this. Course like this, that is very tough.
Hey, my runner.
What still stands out
as
we see Emirates Team New Zealand extend their lead is how quickly they have extended their lead. In a race that's been between 180 all the way along for 5 of the 6 legs.
Stephen, Luna Rossa sailing with their elbows out. I asked Francesco Brini in the press conference yesterday, how much wider do your elbows need to be to keep this boat behind you? And he said, as wide as physically possible. And they did a great job in the first 2 laps of really keeping the Team New Zealand boat behind them. And I think they felt like they needed to go on the attack even though they're in front on that final lap to maintain the lead.
Quick question for you. Do you feel that Emirates Team New Zealand, in coming into that 5th leg, they've just been patient? Very, very patient and responding without getting their own elbows out.
No, I think they were taking what they were given and making the best of it. That's what the boat behind has to do. And then all of a sudden they got their break. Right? They got their break from the Italians. The Italians, believe it or not, everybody says cover, cover, cover when you're ahead. The Italians actually finally covered and got burned by it.
Thierry Hautai. The boats to the outside. Emirates Team New Zealand have a 465-metre plus lead in this 9th race. And as they head towards the finish in the 9th race, you know what that means. Emirates Team New Zealand are 1 step closer to winning the America's Cup, the 36th edition. They have done it quite simply on the last leg. Emirates Team New Zealand crossed the line. It's 6-3.
Just trying to get up, win a couple hundred.
That's what that win means to the folks in the American Cup Village. Kiwi flags waving, and there'll be again disappointment from Luna Rossa, who right from the get-go were fighting.
Maybe we just drive here.
Can you believe this? one mistake.
Nathan, that's a tough one to come back from if you're the Italians. We're going to really see what the Italians are made out of now. That is a tough one. So close, so perfect. Until one
nice work, boys.
Tiny little mistake. Oh my goodness gracious.
Now, without doubt, your focus right now is winning this start, and that'll make your life a lot easier.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli coming on the left side of your screen. That is port entry. They are allowed in at 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And then 10 seconds later at the 2-minute mark, starboard entry boat, which will be Emirates Team New Zealand, are allowed in. And to start the battle in race number 10.
Good course.
Yep. Slowly,
big, at the moment it's showing big committee boat. At the moment we're wide right.
Yeah, wide right.
So Prada Pirelli are into the pre-start. Emirates Team New Zealand is firing as well from the starboard. They are coming into the pre-start. Here we go.
Jimmy Spithill just gave us a cue for the starting line in their strategy there. Nathan, he said big weather end or committee boat favor, right-hand end favor, and they're already thinking wide right.
So as the lead boat, you know, they're on port, they're leading away. How are they actually going to get that right-hand side? Because they're going to be the first ones to turn back. So very interesting here. I expect if they want to be wide and right, they're going to turn back later than normal.
We're winning the Downwind race for sure.
Easy down there.
Down.
Drive.
And he's just gliding into a jump. Now, the real question is New Zealand going to jump them, or are they going to attack and push them above?
Okay. Posting there. Boats around up there.
Goes lower.
One, put down.
Pull the way up. Pull the way up.
New Zealand does not fall for it. They both want the right-hand side.
All good on him. He's one forward. Going to go out here.
Trying to jive.
Still trying for the keep it high, guys.
Didn't let him do it.
So now he's going to try and shut them out. Jimmy Spittle's going to try and shut them out. But Peter Burns has got plenty of speed. Let's just hear the onboard comms. This is a critical moment.
Okay, pressure, clean pressure here.
Still 3 for the...
No risk of being late, I think.
Okay, 0 on 10.
Yeah, we can see him.
2, 1, good one. Down to the angle.
I'll give you a little kiss here.
He's in an interesting spot here. 25 seconds to go.
Yeah, going speed.
Up again, please. Yeah.
Trim.
Easy winning on those, brother. He's fully downwind here. He's fully downwind. Staying above his line. Yeah. Almost all the way here. Nice, guys. Good. Time to lead here, Pete. Watch them, guys.
Go.
2, 1. Port coming down.
Race 10 of the America's Cup Match 2021. Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli, defender, Emirates Team New Zealand.
Key moment in the race. They wanted the right hard there. They actually came in late and didn't mind starting tight. The Kiwis didn't, knowing that they would be tacking soon after. We're going to have to wait a couple minutes for the first cross. These boats are going to go to the edges of the course and come back together.
So, yeah,
verdict of who won the start.
Pretty big ride at the moment.
Yeah, right. Big pressure on the right looks good.
Yep.
But righty.
Yeah. -2 is good.
Big righty still.
Yeah.
Positioning.
Surely this is reminiscent of that critical
Stand
cross
by.
yesterday.
3, 2, 1. A little softer out of this.
Sorry, put your
It's gone to 6 degrees. Set up at 45, so just at start time, massive 15-degree right-hand shift. We're on the right-hand side with the Kiwis. Also, to me, there's always more pressure over here, so great call by the Kiwis, got the shift.
Would you hit him on the way back here, Joshy? We're just knocking here, guys.
Okay, no lower.
There's not going to be much into it, Nathan, but it looks like first cross, first low. Starboard tack advantage coming from the top of the screen.
What side are they going to protect? Are they going to attack and hit them, or are they going to let them go to the right-hand side?
Pressure straight ahead. Pressure up. Offshore in general.
So Team New Zealand covered their check that right-hand side. They got first blood on the right-hand side. They've now got a small lead. They're forcing Prada back out to the left-hand side of the course. Let's go to Freddie in the sky. What do you see as we go up the track, mate?
Yeah, the same as what we saw before the start. The better mixed pressure is left middle, where Prada are heading to now. And the shift is obviously still right. They're still talking about the right-hand shift. And the windward mark right now, the best breeze on the course is coming down left middle.
We have been critical of Peter Burling's starts throughout the series, but I got to tell you what, that took guts to know that you were going to start what we call tight right and bail into an attack right away. They had a strategy, and he pulled it off. Very good job by Peter Burling.
The top left in it, and maybe see how right.
Just heard Blanchuk say top left is a little bit better, so they're seeing what Freddie and the helicopter is seeing at the moment. You can see this lead difference is very, very similar. Those angles up the front indicate the angle the boat's travelling at. New Zealand are attacking ahead, so when Luna Rossa attack right now, you expect that this lead that Luna Rossa have artificially right now might drop a bit, but if that's a left-hand shift, we might see a lead change here. Very close between these two boats at the moment.
Already at target here.
Nice pressure on our windward. Here is a lift.
Yeah, that's it.
Very light duck though, it's only a tiny one.
Yeah.
We're going one for right. I mean, one for right. Yeah, very happy with the breeze on the bow.
Coming up, boys.
To Luna Rossa. I think this is the first time, Nathan, we've seen the Kiwis ahead and they haven't just simply stretched away.
Yeah, I think we're going
Luna Rossa keeping it tight.
Copy that on the downwind. Just go a little bit lower hill. Copy. And then off here. Real good phaser. Yeah.
Here you can see that's the lead chain. Luna Rossa choosing to go behind. Emirates Team New Zealand had right of way there. And I think that the gains have been coming from the left-hand side of the course on that particular case for Luna Rossa. The real question is, what are we at the top of the course? And if you look to the top left of our picture, that's live pictures there. Looks like Emirates Team New Zealand made a bit of a gain here coming to the top. And I'm not sure if Luna Rossa are going to lay the left day here. If they lay the left day, we're going to get a split. Let's just listen and see how it comes here.
Yeah, we've got struggling the line. This pressure should help us out.
The left here.
Nice angle there. By the way,
It's Team New Zealand through the top gate for the first time. One leg of 6 completed. They will lead Luna Rossa Prada on the first downwind leg in this race.
Going away.
Tight margins.
Great pump.
Surely it seems a little bit shiftier than we've seen in the past out on this course. What do you think?
Upwind mode for the race.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, and also up and down in speed and velocity. 10 knots up to 14 knots. So big patches of light wind, which is making a massive difference to performance.
Team New Zealand with a lead that sits at around 230 odd metres in front of Luna Rossa Prada Pirelli. The equation for Luna Rossa is quite simple. They must win this race. They must chase down Emirates Team New Zealand. They will have fans on the edge of their seats early in the morning in Italy, and crowd here, the Italian fans will be praying for something to happen, but you get the feeling the numbers outweigh them when it comes to crowds. But back on the race course, Emirates Team New Zealand with the early advantage. Maybe we're in for another classic.
Yeah, almost.
Freddie, up to you in the helicopter for a second. Sure, it always seems like the Kiwis just have a little jump downwind, doesn't it?
It does seem like they have a little jump. I was very surprised that the Kiwis didn't jive and come over to the top side of the course. The Prada's actually gained a little bit in the top half of this beat, in this run, apologies. But now Team New Zealand are on the left-hand side in the better pressure. It's a little, you've got to get over to this left-hand side and cash it in. It's like 2 knots left to right at the moment.
Happy to go back. Yep.
hydraulic traveler system on this Kiwi boat. It's the bane of our existence. Believe me, folks, we love it just as little as you love it when it comes to the great sounds that come off of these boats.
I can tell you our sound technicians have worked very, very hard to minimize that, but we also found out too it affects the onboard communication between Blair Tuke and Peter Burling as well, so it annoys them as much as it annoys us at times. Let's go on board Luna Rossa. They're chasing. They have to be the hunter.
Yeah, I don't think we will be able to do one in here.
Delay. Okay, copy.
Yeah. We go early then. Stand by. 3, 2, 1, 4 down.
That was some interesting chat. They were trying to work out, are they going to lay the marks with one jibe only? You can see they've jibed just before that red line, which is the lay line. Team New Zealand are going to jibe here very soon as well. Both marks were to the right of the picture, and Team New Zealand jibing to get in sync here right now.
Okay, so they jibe there.
Both boats look like they're heading towards the same mark. I think there's been a really good gain here by Luna Rossa on this run.
This is one of the very first runs we've seen that Luna Rossa has hung in there.
Yeah, you go now. Yep, you go.
Potential JK.
Copy.
Let me know over there, Keko.
Yep.
Potential JK.
Let me know with the job.
Stand by. 3, 2,
Emirates Team New Zealand once again leading Luna Rossa around the bottom gate for the first time. They'll complete 2 legs of 6, 4 to go.
A little stuck here on Emirates Team New Zealand. Not their best drive, their best rounding. Wide rounding going around it.
Going to be a little fast here around the point.
That's a lot of that's a bad rounding by part of it. Then look like they're off the foil there. Shirley, can you see how that bottom mark panned out there for Luna Rossa?
To me, it looked like it was 2 boards down, ready for that JK turn. Really early and quite a long phase as well, and it was just too long, hanging there too deep with the 2 boards down and really, really slowed down. It was a big loss.
Afford any mistakes on the Italian boat.
Both teams showing just a little bit of pressure.
Yeah, but the Italians made their mistake also in the dirty air or the mixed up air coming off the wings of the Kiwi boat. So that absolutely compounded the problem compared to what happened to the Kiwis.
We're not going to give him third here, so just our mode.
Nathan, close race, got not very close.
Yeah, it's amazing how quickly it can change. And Luna Rossa were catching them, and then they sailed into the dirty air, as you said. They jibed to go to that left-hand mark as they approached the bottom mark. Team New Zealand matched them, put disturbed air on, and Team New Zealand looked like they had a struggle at the bottom mark, but Luna Rossa's bottom mark was even tougher. And now the lead is stretched out quite a bit, and we'll just listen on board here. Team New Zealand will be tacking and keeping in check the rest of this race, that's for sure. That's a huge sigh of relief if you're a Kiwi fan, that bottom mark round there.
Big carries on still. Mine. Great speed, they can take whenever. Yep. Hard hit on this one, Josh. Yeah, copy that. I'll watch for his board. He's just behind our 90 at the moment, so we'll be matching. Copy. 0 heel, please, Pete. Okay, fires, go now. Fire. Continue. Alright, forward. A little bit easy, yeah, nice.
Hard hit. That was the call by Peter Burling, which means they're tacking right on top of, using all the dirty air off of their sails for the against the Italians.
You can see Peter Burling is getting very aggressive now, isn't he? He's just got that little bit of a lead out. You can see on this graphic here, that white trail behind the boats is the bad air. It looks like Luna Rossa is sailing just to leeward of that graphic. It's very hard to give you competitive bad air, but I think Peter Burling is saying to his boys, let's shut the race down. Let's not give them a chance to get back into this. If you're a Kiwi fan watching this right now, you're starting to get a little bit excited.
Flags a big right at the top there.
Emirates Team New Zealand lengthening their lead on the 3rd leg of 6. It is all important. 10th race of the 2024 Cup match. One senses now. Control from Emirates Team New Zealand. Play it safe. Do it by the numbers.
This one, so we've got more space.
He carries on still.
Bye boys. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, he fires now. 20 seconds till the line. Do you want to go on him or go past me?
Gain. I think we'll just go to Layla.
That's the sounds of Josh Jr. He's
almost on
actually
his line now, so
to leeward of the boat to the right-hand side of the boat. He's talking about firing. That means they're putting the dagger board, the wing, into the water, and that's the telltale sign that they're going to tack. So they're using these little plays to help them communicate with each other.
So Freddie, as we're approaching the top mark here, Team New Zealand got a pretty good lead. What do you see otherwise? Is it going to change much between here and the top mark?
Pretty much
repeat of Windward Gate number 1 here, Nate. The best pressure is left middle. If you do a left turn at the top, which Emirates Team New Zealand are lining up for, they're going to bear away into nice pressure, probably 2-1 knots more on the left-hand side. And if Prada choose to split to the right, they could get a little shift, but there is less pressure over on that side.
So Team New Zealand coming in on starboard tack now to the top mark. This lead is really stretched out a little bit now, and if Freddie's right and he's got some really good eyes in the helicopter, a left turn here for Emirates Team New Zealand is going to put them in much stronger breeze, and this lead might just continue to grow.
3, 2, 1. Pressure mark, nothing spectacular.
Emirates Team New Zealand about to complete 50% of race number 10. They have completed 3 legs of 6. Go round that top gate, head back down on leg number 4.
He'll be taking right turn in about 15 seconds. -2.
They can feel it.
Nice pressure on the bow, is it? Yeah, looks good all the way, eh? Yeah. No deeper feet, little pace.
Luna Rossa, Prada Pirelli. Finally through the top gate, taking the right-hand mark.
Then by 3, 2, 1, and yours.
Has left them 27 seconds in favour of Emirates Team New Zealand.
He went to boundary and jibed.
Yes. Still righty. Decent pressure.
Don't watch if you're a fan right now. I think that's what that means.
-1.
Okay. Numbers.
3 right.
Bye boys.
You see there the VMG numbers in the bottom, 29 knots versus 33 knots. That could be a case of having extra wind. It also could be a case of having a slightly faster boat down. And let's remember, Emirates Team New Zealand's foils are in the realm of 30% smaller. And when the breeze gets over this 10-12 knot wind range, those little foils seem to have a little bit more speed, and you combine that with extra pressure and you have a rocket ship.
Surely get that sense that Emirates Team New Zealand are controlling this race
Big left here, 38.
Coming down on this.
Okay.
No deeper feet.
Three left. Slowly left. 5 left. Good left.
Going probably another.
Back up to Freddie still. The sea breeze seems like it's solid now, Freddie. Right, that light air offshore isn't creeping back in again.
No, that's right. It's got much better mix throughout the sort of 15 minutes of this race so far. There was that southwesterly no wind patch on course C about a mile downwind from us. And Team New Zealand fans will be pleased to know that that's filled in this northeasterly. So, like the last time I was in the helicopter, it doesn't look like we're going to be having any shutdowns in this race.
This lap is looking more like a lap of honour for the Kiwis all the time, extending all the time. I've just been watching the speeds. They're at least 2 knots quicker, sometimes 5 knots quicker than their opponent. And if you've worked on this programme and supported this programme, this is a proud moment. Just seeing what they can do and actually having an open road to show us what all that hard work has meant.
Bravo.
Yeah. He's marginal. He's probably marginal left there.
He won't make it. Happy right turn. Yeah. Trying to get steep. And in for one more round up.
Emirates Team New Zealand, the defender of the America's Cup, heading into complete leg number 4 of race number 10. They are 2 legs away from winning the cup.
Good press when you can, 37. How's the good one, boys?
8 left.
0 hill.
Time to sail perfect right now, Nathan, aren't they?
20 seconds. Hill, follow.
Very fast. Looks like they've stretched their lead once again. Just a couple of extra seconds on that downwind, but
Bit JK here. Going to drop the ball during the turn though. Okay, slow turn up.
Nuno Rosso, Prada Cup have always said they are in the fight and they will stay in the fight. And they are still in the fight. They're 37 seconds adrift of Emirates Team New Zealand. I thought the telling moment at the press conference last night from Jimmy Spiller says there ain't going to be any towel thrown in. We are here to go all the way.
They immediately try to create a split by doing that that very cool, tricky maneuver around the leeward mark. They all call it JK and try to get as much of a split as they can. Nathan, now it's kind of turning into desperation time. There's times to keep it close. There's other times just to need a Hail Mary. Getting close to Hail Mary.
yes, you're 100% right. But there's not many things they can do. The more maneuvers you do on these boats, you lose distance every maneuver. So Team New Zealand, if Lunos start tacking and trying to force something, Team New Zealand are going to start sailing boundary to boundary. They've got 466 metre lead here right now. It's a pretty substantial lead. Right now, if you're Luna Rossi, you're just hoping that Team New Zealand make a big mistake.
It would have to be an enormous mistake.
We go back to the start of this race, and Peter Burling, both in the press down here and in this booth, has been really having a hard time, taking a hard time in these pre-starts. They had a plan in that pre-start, and they pulled it off. I give him all kinds of credit.
You're 100% there, and there's a lot of pressure on the helmsman of any of these boats. And there's a lot of people watching the racing today, and he would love nothing more than to execute a start and lead from the beginning of the race right through. And so far, so good.
He responded to pressure. You can imagine that Peter Burling has been under incredible pressure, potentially internally as well as externally. And they say champions deliver when it matters.
Good phase, boys. Maybe a little lower here when you can, so I was probably a bit quick out on the can. 5, right? So a little more lower feet. Friction, I know it's a bit lighter, but...
Average breath.
5.
Coming up a lot.
Okay, pressure coming here. 2.
Pressure. In the Italian boat, I'll tell you what, the same communication, that same level of communication, the cadence on board the boat, absolutely zero quit, no sense of panic, but the clock is certainly running on them right now.
Actually, we go to this path.
We'll think about going back, so... Real puppy, I don't think you'll get a good one.
3, 2, 1.
Little knock there. Yeah. Happy to put
He sets up and tacks down, Pete.
Kenny, you said in our pre-show today that Nuno Rosso had to sail the perfect race. You get the feeling Emirates Team New Zealand are listening to you.
But we heard Jimmy Spithill say we want the right. The weather end is favored, we want the right. And guess what? He got outdone by Peter Burling.
Keep pushing, boys.
It's all going to... Listen, Corset, we talked about it before. Freddie reminded us of it this morning. Corset has not produced a pass yet. You have to win the start. The Kiwis went for it at the start, and it worked. And by the way, the Italians wanted that start, and the other guys took it away. Good for them.
Okay, pressure here.
500+ metre advantage to Emirates Team New Zealand. They're going to hit the top mark surely for the very last time.
0. It's pretty dynamic up there. That's all good. Let's get around the right here and just see what it looks like.
Yep, he's still on board. Going delay. 11 right.
Starting to feel it.
Better watch out for him on the fairway.
Yeah, copy.
Definitely this mark's good with the big right here. Yeah, probably just carry on to boundary. Copy. Nice angle there.
Emirates
Probably
Team
no
New
lower,
Zealand
Pete.
hitting the top gate for the very last time. Sailing this magnificent flying machine called Aotearoa.
3,
They'll round the gate.
1, and away you go.
Head downwind for the very last time. And one feels pretty sure the party's about to start.
Never know. You never know. But man, if you're a betting person right now,
you never know.
We're not.
No, he carries on. They're all
looking kind of good.
Average breeze coming to the front edge of it. I think a bit better at taking.
It's looking very good for the Kiwis.
I'm trying to crave hope.
I know you're trying to crave hope. They've just stretched out once again, and it's just showing the pure boat speed of that boat and the professionalism of that team to come back and have such a great start and really control this race from the beginning.
Okay, I will.
You will.
3, 2, 1, clear, yours.
Nathan, we've talked a lot in this event about the fastest boat always wins the America's Cup. There's been a lot of talk about pretty even boats, et cetera, et cetera. To me, there's been no question. As this series has gone along, we even mentioned this early on, the Italians had to put them away early. The Kiwis have gotten better. They've gotten raced tougher. They've gotten better. And the faster boat is about to win the America's Cup.
3, 2,
I think you're right there. I think Luna Rossa put up a really strong fight at the beginning. They were starting well, executing everything well, but you kind of got the feeling as this event was going on that the faster boat was gaining momentum. These guys were starting to find modes in that boat that they needed to combat another boat. When you're sailing around on your own for 2 or 3 years, it's hard to know what mode to sail. But they lined up with Luna Rossa early on in this event, and they're finding modes that they didn't know they had. And as always, the fastest boat wins the America's Cup, and we're seeing that right now.
It has been a mighty challenge from Luna Rossa, Prada, Pirelli, but in the end, you come into this final match race, as it turns out to be, needing 4 wins in a trot, and they have been, well, we have to call it, don't we? They were outsailed at the start, and that was the difference. Peter Burling did what he needed to do in the match race that mattered.
Okay, pressure again.
My stuff coming on here. Fine. Nice job,
Impressive boats, impressive sight, impressive event, and you know what? The defender always tends to have the advantage, and they took advantage of it, and congratulations. It's looking pretty solid for the Kiwis at this stage.
We just have the 1 and in. 1 and in. Little pacer.
Copy.
Reasonably steady. Probably more of a pace up moving, but yeah, pleasure.
One more jibe. The Americans
soft there, boys, out of this one.
Emirates Team New Zealand are on track.
Heading up all the way down this
Another
side,
chapter to the America's Cup history book. Let's remember they're sailing Odyssey, this Cup Odyssey,
1 or 2
is only 34 years young. That Odyssey from Fremantle would turn into Obsession. And then it would come to 1995 that Team New Zealand finally got their hands on sailing's holy grail, becoming just the second country to win the Cup from outside of America. In 2000, they prevailed to all comers, but unable to follow up in 2003. 21 years after their first successful defence on home waters, Emirates Team New Zealand do it again in a new class of boat that proves Kiwis can fly. Sailing's most treasured prize, the America's Cup stays in New Zealand.
Yes, boy! Fucking nice. Enjoy the moment, boys. Well done.
I just gotta watch out for these blokes here.
Right. Don't worry about the sails, boys. Leave
Unreal!
Good luck, boys. So we jibe round and go congratulate them.
Luna Rossa. They have put up a fight, and they have done the America's Cup and Italy proud.
It's going to turn all the way up here to the right, boys.
Hey, bit up there.
just coming behind Alpha still.